Hey, guess what?
What's that?
Give me an F.
F.
Give me another F.
F.
That's all of them. This is the Every F and FF podcast.
It's all of them.
It's just two. There's just two F's in it. It's right there in the title.
Every F and Epstein.
F's. Every F and Epstein.
I just keep derailing this. I'm sorry, I've got Epstein brain. I do have a spicy take for this episode, though.
Oh.
Are you ready for it right now?
I'm ready for it right now.
Oh, give it to me. I'm ready.
It's a little controversial. I
might need to refresh this glass of water. It might burn a little bit going down.
It's gonna get a little spicy.
Ooh,
but
I love it.
I'll be the first to say it. I don't really like breeding chocobos. Very controversial.
I think I like it better than the rest of the things we're going to talk about in this episode, which is to say, it's a very low bar. not a lot, I guess.
For the listener, I think everyone hates this, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Basically, I'm ready to stop talking about saving the world, and I'm ready to stop talking about plotline, and I just want to talk about Chocobos fucking.
Yeah, and talk about grinding.
And also,
in every sense.
And
when you think about it.
And maybe even we'll take a little side trip and talk about Moogles fucking as well.
Oh, man, there's a lot of fucking in this.
I am Curtis.
I'm Carl.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Remy.
Oh!
When did you get here?
Blame my parents.
I do on a daily basis. No, how's it going, man?
Better now.
Huh.
Much better now.
I love it. So what is your experience with Final Fantasy?
My experience is a roller coaster of emotions. I think that's most people. It's a lot like Star Trek. If you just want to go through them in order, you can see a bad one and then an okay one, and then a slightly more okay one, and then a really good one, and then what happened, and then this is also really, really good, and then one that is arguably almost as good. And it keeps going on and on.
Which one is Final Fantasy VII? Is that the next generation? Is that the good one?
No, I mean,
no, the good one's Final Fantasy VIII.
Is that the next generation? I am to understand that
Final
people
Fantasy,
really enjoy the next generation.
Final Fantasy VIII is Deep Space Nine, the best one.
Is it the best one?
I don't know. I have friends who are really into Deep Space Nine.
No, all right. Then.
Which Final Fantasy is the Voyage Home with whales?
That is Final Fantasy V. No, because the Voyage Home was good though.
The Voyage Home had computer. Hello, computer. You have to use the keyboard. A keyboard. How quaint.
I almost feel like Final Fantasy IX is like the Voyage Home.
Ooh.
Yeah, because they return to their roots in a way. And other
the
ways
80s.
that we could... the 80s. Well, yes, because the first Final Fantasy came out in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
87.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Canonically the same universe.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about. I've only played this one game.
Yeah, so we're not...
Alex, Star Trek is the Doctor Who spin-off show.
Oh.
I just want to know how many people I've just pissed off with that statement. It's probably a lot of them.
I saw some Doctor Who one time.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, that's how I felt about it.
It's pretty good.
I was like, it's pretty good. Yeah, we're not talking about plot this week. No.
We're talking about Doctor Who.
We're talking...
So the Daleks, right? They're fucked up. They're little
Daleks?
trash.
It's like robot version of Alex.
They're trash can
Daleks.
men. Daleks. God damn it. Abort.
Yeah.
Those are pest control, right?
What do they say? They're like eliminate.
Oh, yeah, they do say eliminate. I meant abort.
No, they don't say
joke.
eliminate. Is it eliminate?
I don't know.
Exterminate? Alleviate?
Oh.
So we're talking about chocobos.
That's
today.
right, yeah.
But first, actually, so what did we cover last week?
We have
again?
butt firsts on butt firsts.
I need to tell you all at the top of the show before we even start recording. I have a butt first.
I always,
And now a butt first.
I always put your butt first.
So last episode we were
Under the
Junon.
sea.
Under the sea, but also Junon, above the sea.
That's correct.
What did Vincent say? He was like, wow, first under the sea and now in the air. Today's been quite a day.
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
So I replayed doing some homework. I forget what I was doing. I was probably just playing this next section. But the sister ray is still visible in the overworld, the big cannon of Junon. It's real annoying.
Oh, really?
It bothers me.
What an absolutely shit game.
The gun's still there. But also, I thought a thing worth noting is if you when we hijack the Shinra #1,
Yeah.
I guess, or whatever the submarine is, if you do choose to fight the soldiers and the captain, the Rufus parade music starts playing instead
When? During the fight?
during the fight.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. Really?
So that like confirms that they are in fact the soldiers that we were like friends with.
Does that confirm it? I guess that confirms
I think
it.
it absolutely confirms
Yeah,
it. All the
right,
evidence
probably
is
so.
there. At least I was like pretty much there. I'm like the reason I like took them prisoner was because I felt like a connection to them because I've like
Yeah.
I thought
yeah.
it was those guys, but like with the music playing, I'm like that's all I need. Like
It's-
that's all the evidence I need.
It's
to
so
prove it.
sad because when you kill them off, they say like, "Ugh, they got me," and then the second one is like, "Oh, my special move."
Oh, really?
no.
They really wanted to go out in glory.
Aw.
It's so bad.
That's very sad.
It would be like if Zack killed Cloud in like the flashback. I feel like it's a similar vibe there.
And I just fast forward and he's okay.
I also
So the third thing actually I wanted to bring up,
Sure.
we went to the Gallica as well,
Yeah.
and the
Yes.
Turks were there. How'd the Turks get there?
hey, yeah. They have the underwater materia maybe.
The Turks are maybe one of the longest running plot issues in like, everything surrounding Final Fantasy VII.
It's imagine if you like went to the Titanic and there was just like some guy there, like, "Oh hey, funny meeting you here."
And then he wanted to brawl.
Yeah, James Cameron is like doing research for his movie in that submarine that he had, and then he goes down into the Titanic, and the Turks are just there, and it's just like,
Yeah. Do 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 do. They were just on the plane when it went down.
But on last episode, we were talking about the tough ring that you can steal from either
Yeah.
Reno. I think it's Reno that you can steal it from. I actually did some research on what it does. I can't remember if we said specifically, but it gives you like plus 50 vitality and spirit. And I found that out like between the break last episode, and then I was like, oh god, what the fuck does vitality and spirit do again? And I was like, I'm just not going to talk about it. But I looked it up. Vitality affects the amount of damage taken from physical attacks, and it can be increased with the guard source item. And spirit determines the defense against magic attacks. So it's
Okay.
basically just like, magic defense and physical
yeah.
defense. And with spirit, you can actually increase that with magic defense. And in the Gelnica, all of like the unknown creatures, I think we might have talked about this, but you can morph them all into all the guard things.
Yeah.
Which I did a lot of
Did
in
you?
this episode, yeah.
Hell yeah. So you had some Yuffie.
Oh yeah.
Time.
Oh yeah.
Is this affected by the magic defense bug?
Oh, what's the magic defense bug? on
Oh
this?
yeah. Remy's part of the reason I made Remy come on this episode is because he would keep talking about FF7 with me at work.
Hell yeah.
And so I was like, "You just come on. I'm gonna be really tired today."
Well, so I don't know if it's I don't know how far beyond the PlayStation version it is, but there is a bug that affects equipment in Final Fantasy VII where magic defense it's listed, it's calculated and everything, but
It
it's
never
not
actually
properly
figures.
checked.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't do anything.
So it's like blind, like you were talking about before.
Yeah, where if you blind the enemy, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make
Yeah.
them miss any more often.
I'm
It does
gonna-
for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it's probably absolutely still a thing in this game. Just judging by some of the other bugs that I've come across in this episode. Like,
You know
in
what?
doing
I
my research for
appreciate
this.
that they actually brought the bugs over,
Me
believe it
too.
or not. Like, I'm like, because like, there are mods, there exist mods.
Yeah.
You want to play it that way, that's fine. But I like the I
Yeah.
like the fact that they brought over the fucking the
Bug-
incorrect parts.
Bugs are canon.
Bugs are canon. I want to say they brought the focus energy bug over to the 3DS when they put red and blue Pokemon on there.
Oh wait, what's that one?
Focus energy does nothing.
Oh really?
Or well, it's supposed to
Yeah.
increase your critical
Shit.
as you use it, but it doesn't. But after you use it 4 times and max it out, your critical becomes 0 instead.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
There's a lot of overflow bugs in the original
No,
Pokemon.
that's
Oh, yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
I think that was before Satoru Iwata worked on it, so that's probably why.
Maybe.
Because like that game, I feel like they didn't really expect it to be as good as it was. And
Probably.
Then with Gold and Silver, Iwata like famously took over like some of the oversight of it and was like looking at the code and was like, hey, this is kind of a mess. Can I clean this up for you? And he cleaned it up, and he was like a whiz with like compression. So he compressed the game enough to that's why they could include the Kanto region, because he got the game so compressed that he was like, well, we still have like half a cart left. Why don't we just throw the old region in here too and all the other
Every FNFF now stands for every fire red and fucking green version,
That's good. That's good, dude.
which means every F and FF is every fucking green.
I mean, I'm
version.
glad you mentioned Iwata though, just
Okay.
because of like his genius level, like as far as just being able to clean up code.
Yep, he's the reason that Earthbound came out.
Yep,
He is very similar thing.
completely.
He oversaw that team as well. And,
Clean my code, daddy.
and he looked at it and he was like, okay, if we continue trying to fix all the bugs that are going on in this code, it will be a year late for release. If you let me take care of it and just build it from the ground up, I can have it out in 6 months. And they were like, at that point, I think he had just become an executive of Nintendo as well. And they were like, what the fuck kind of executive is this? And they were like, okay, well, we can't tell him no, so whatever. So he took over it, and 6 months later, they fucking released it because he's awesome.
That's awesome.
And he also slashed his salary when the Wii U didn't do well because he
Yep.
blamed himself and the marketing of the Wii U, and he didn't want it to affect his workers or his company. So, like the actual people in the company. So he's like, I'm not going to let myself have a huge salary and everyone else suffer. So,
Solidarity.
hell yeah.
Unbelievable loss.
Yeah.
Speaking of gold and silver,
what's that?
isn't the one where eggs start happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
So breeding.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's a
full
good
Brought it
segue.
in. You said gold and silver, and I was like the golden saucer. Oh, we
Ooh.
both went with two different directions to bring it back in.
And
I
they
like
both
it.
work perfectly.
That's right. But yeah, we are going to be talking about breeding chocobos today because once you get Cloud back, so technically, we could have talked about this as soon as we got Cloud back from Mediel, because you can do all this starting then. Well, actually, I mean, technically, you can do it all with Tifa or Sid as well. But we're going to be adding in all the extra mini games and all that stuff, which is why we went ahead and went to Junon. So this is the first time you can do everything and also see all the mini games and really experience Gold Saucer to its fullest. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
for those keeping track at home, we could have done this in, I think, episode 9, and we could have done this in episode 15 because I went into my Google Drive and searched Gold Saucer, and I have notes on Gold Saucer from both of those episodes that I took notes in. So,
And every time I was like, no, don't talk about it.
and I was like, oh shit.
I've had my cold iron grip on the podcast.
And we almost talked about it last week.
Oh, yeah.
I know, because I fucked up and thought we had all the mini games, but we did not.
So I think the way that we should do the episode today is kind of talk about like the side thing of breeding as a whole, and then kind of
Sure.
focus on specifics of it as either as we come across it, or just give like a brief rundown of like
Absolutely.
what you
Yeah.
need to do. So the first thing that you're going to want to do with Chocobo breeding is go to www.google.com and type in Mike's Chocobo breeding guide,
It's funny you mentioned that.
because there is some absolute legend who made an insanely good, like, comprehensive Chocobo breeding guide.
Is that the one that had? Oh, yeah.
I'm already there.
Remy has it up on his phone right now. He was ready with it.
And if you use our special offer code, you can use Google for free.
Yeah. So I guess the basics of chocobo breeding, right?
Yeah.
So like,
There's a few things
why
that you
would
wanna
we
start.
want to breed chocobos?
We haven't even caught any chocobos yet.
Yeah,
except
I-
for the one.
Yeah, there was the one that we had to catch to get across the marsh.
But we didn't have anywhere to take him
Put
yet.
him.
Yeah, we
Yes,
could
that's
we could
right.
just like ride it and then let it go.
So technically, we have one free stable on the high wind, right?
Yeah.
So we catch a chocobo and we
But I-
ride it and interact with the high wind while riding the chocobo. It stores it in the
Ball.
stable on board, right?
Yeah.
So and then like when we land, we're still riding it. So like to that extent, we have one stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it was always a stable, even when it was owned by Shinra and Sid?
I think it is just because there's like a chocobo painted on it,
Oh,
and
okay.
the's like the hay could have been an afterthought.
Well,
I
there's
guess,
a
but-
guy in there to just do that too, right?
Yeah.
It could have been like the latrine.
He was like, I'd much rather be breeding chocobos.
Yeah, there is no
Take care
bathroom
of
on the
them.
high wind. How many are there in Rocket Town?
Well, I
Too
think when
many.
you're that far up in the air, everywhere around you is the bathroom.
Oh, I guess that's right.
They'll never know. God, could you imagine what a terrible fate it would be to be just like standing outside and instead of like a bird dookie landing on you, it's like,
A dragon dookie
yeah.
or a weapon dookie.
Oh no!
It's
Do
just,
weapons have to defecate?
That's a good question.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's what causes the black materia. We went over that last episode. But there is a few things that you'll want to like collect before you start breeding chocobos.
Yes.
But to go over it again, like the you were going to say like the reason that you would want
I was
to
gonna say, why would you want to in the first place?
Yeah,
right?
so if you've been flying around on the high wind, you're like, cool, I have complete agency over this game now. I can go anywhere I want. I can fly to anywhere I want. But you'll notice that there's a couple of caves that you like can't quite reach.
Right.
And in the top right corner, there's like a whole island
Yeah.
that's there, like a round island that is covered by mountains and forests.
Yeah.
And you just can't get to it on the highway.
Because the high wind necessitate, like to land, it necessitates having some grassy area
Yeah,
to land it in.
It
right?
doesn't even land on snow.
Right.
So you had mentioned the Chocobo Sage in a previous episode.
Right, because there's a little tiny patch of grass
Yeah.
next to where he is. You can land the high wind,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
But yeah, so if we want to go talk about the Chocobo Sage, like
Yeah.
like I said the last time 2 episodes ago, when you talk to him, he kind of you can see that there's a green chocobo in his house, right?
Yeah.
And he can't quite remember what its deal is. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a green chocobo. I don't remember what it does." And the more time goes on, and the more you talk to him, the more he remembers about his story, and he'll start telling you about some things that they do. Which, related to what we were just talking about, the green chocobo can climb mountains. Is that correct? Is blue as
Yes.
rivers? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the green one can climb mountains. So,
There's a song in here somewhere.
the green chocobos can run up that hill. And
They can make a deal with God.
there you
That's the black chocobo.
go. Yeah, so he also sells nuts and greens.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Anyway, yeah, so the reason we're going to be breeding chocobos is to be able to access these different locations, right? And then there's also the extra purpose of competing in chocobo races and getting the prizes that are associated with those, right? Which is
Yeah.
a mini game in the gold saucer.
Right.
So, like we were saying, things you need to collect before you can begin, right? You're gonna need to go to the back to the Chocobo Ranch,
Yeah.
right, and buy at least one, but probably all 6 stables that are now open for purchase there.
Yeah, and
And
they're 10,000 each, right?
Yeah.
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 And a fun thing about buying the stables, you go to Choco Bill, like
Correct.
in the actual like house.
Not
to be
Chocobilly.
not to be
Correct.
confused with Choco Billy. But in order to buy them, you have to actually like buy all. Like you can't just be like, hey, I'll take all 6. Like
Yeah, you have to do
you
one
have to
at a
do
time
each individually,
Yeah.
which kind of starts a trend of this not holding up too well in terms of like user
Oh, yeah,
interface,
yeah.
just because there's a lot.
Well,
of
at least
stuff
you
like
only
that.
have
Even
to do
Breath of the
6.
Wild had something for that when you're upgrading your house. You have to like kind of just repeatedly talk to the renovators instead
Oh,
of just
yeah.
like adding it to your cart.
Yeah,
It's like, this is the most time-consuming thing ever. I have all the money, man.
yeah. It's like, come on, we all
It's
know why
funny.
we're here.
I swear I recall something about them mentioning doing that on purpose in Breath of the Wild, which is really mean-spirited.
Yeah.
I could also be making that up.
No, those developers don't seem mean-spirited with the Korok seeds and the if
The
you
shiny
collect
golden turd.
yeah, if you collect all of them.
So that's basically where we're going to be able to place them when we start catching them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so we explained on one of the earlier episodes how to catch them, and I guess like a really, really quick recap of that is you find a chocobo by equipping the chocobo lure materia. Once you find them, they appear with a set of enemies. If you can eliminate all the enemies before the chocobo runs away in like one turn, then you get to catch it.
Yep.
If you want it to stick around longer, you can feed it greens in the battle,
Yeah.
and that will keep it around for a little bit longer while you do your battling, right?
Yeah.
Now, this far into the fight or into the game, we're so strong that I found I could just one hit every enemy that came with the chocobo, and I didn't really even need to use greens.
Yeah, for one chocobo in particular, I did use the greens, but for the other ones, like I didn't really need to.
Yeah.
But another thing that you should probably like just prepare before going and catching chocobos is while you're at the Chocobo Sage, you should buy some of the Silkus greens.
So this is we're at the point now where I had the Master Doll materia and I sold it. I sold 2 more Master Doll materias, and it came in very, very handy for this because
Yeah.
I just bought 99 silk screens every time I would go back and refill, and every time I fed them to a chocobo, I just feed them 90 straight up.
Damn.
And it would just max out.
I'm pretty sure you can feed them 10 and just max them out.
I read online, I thought it said 90. but
What guide did you use?
I didn't use Mike's.
Well, that's your problem right there,
I
friend.
guess so.
We are sponsored by Mike's Chocobo Breeding Guide.
Mike's
Hard
hard chocobo.
I mean, yeah.
So I was originally using the Cave of Narsh. And then someone pointed out to me.
I think that's where I was at.
Yeah, someone pointed out to me Mike's, and I was like, oh, let me check into this. And I kept running into a thing, like I kept running into a problem that wasn't discussed in like the Caves of Narsh one. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. And I came across Mike's Chocobo greeting guide, and the first thing you see on like the splash page is just an awesome like hand-drawn picture of Cloud riding a chocobo, and it's like really nice. I'm like, okay, this person put a lot of work into this guide, and I appreciate it. And I like, and it's like several pages long.
Related, have you seen the official art of Cloud riding a chocobo? It is very cute.
I don't know.
It's really good. I'll find it during the break, and we can look at it. It's very good, and I very much enjoy it.
It's not this one, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's one and the same. Mike's always one step ahead of us.
Always one step ahead.
Yeah, but the reason that you want to get that particular green is it makes maxing out a chocobo's stats much easier, which comes in handy when you're actually racing the chocobos, which will increase its rank.
I should mention that I forgot to unequip Cloud's counterattack and mime 8 times. So as soon as I got my first encounter with a chocobo, Cloud just destroyed everyone.
Did he destroy the chocobo?
I mean, I think he just counterattacks everything.
They're unkillable in this, aren't they?
They're unkillable,
I think
but
it just spooks them off.
you can attack them.
You can attack them,
and then they counterattack you.
Right.
Which is actually a strategy that we should probably talk about now as well, where you can learn an enemy skill.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that now. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if
and encountering chocobos, you mean, right?
Yeah. So I think it's only chocobos that are like level 16 or level 36. So like
it's specific levels of them.
Yeah, like the strategy that I heard is a good one to use is to use level 4 suicide, which will like only connect to enemies that are a level that's like a multiple of 4.
Correct.
So it's good to do that so you can hit it. I did that. I don't know if it like has any bearing over that specifically getting it to use the move that you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another the chocobo.
Did it work for you?
Yeah. So
what does Chocobuckle do?
I forget. I used it, but I can't remember.
Fuck yeah.
Chocobuckle is an enemy skill that deals non-elemental damage and is to a single target. It has great potential, as the damage is calculated by the number of battles the party has escaped from. Meaning it could potentially deal 9,999 damage for the small cost of 3 MP. However, it could take a long time to power up the spell to this level. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is neat.
I think I did look into that, and then I
That's
completely
like,
forgot about it.
It's like the coward's knife from Final Fantasy V.
Oh, yeah.
So that means, I think it's implying, because you learn this from a chocobo, that these chocobos become more powerful the more they flee.
Oh, yeah, that makes
true,
sense.
If they were like legendary Pokemon that and just encountering the same chocobo over and over again, being deadly.
Yeah.
So let's assume that we have our 6 stables that we've purchased.
Mm-hmm.
We have
enough greens that we need.
Enough greens, and we're ready to go start catching. Right. So I figure we'll kind of like you as the player can feasibly do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You can go catch whichever ones you want. So I figure what we'll do is we'll act as though we're aiming for that coveted golden chocobo, and we'll kind of like walk through those steps. How about?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, all right. So different chocobos have different rankings, and you don't implicitly know the ranking when you stumble upon one in the wild. Although they are consistent because they show up with certain sets of enemies beside them. So you'll know which one is which rank if you've like memorized the ranks and you see which enemies are with them, and you can go, okay, well this one's with 2 jumpings, so that is a wonderful chocobo.
Chocobo, hell yeah.
Chocoboko.
Chocobo.
Right. So
you brought up the wonderful chocobo. And I would like to talk about my trials and tribulations trying to catch a fucking wonderful chocobo.
Okay, well, let's talk about the good and the great ones first.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because so this is how this is going to work. Okay, here's our game plan for making this happen. And like, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe it's implicitly stated anywhere exactly how you're supposed to go about this.
No.
Like, as you talk to the Chocobo Sage, he'll give you hints, but they're not even hints about like what you would want to do with it. He's just like, oh, if you want a green one, maybe try to get 2 good ones, I guess. Whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
And you're like, is he telling me what to do? I don't know. It's very weakly suggested. But,
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even know why his is green, so why,
yeah, I know. Well,
why take any advice from him?
He does as you continue going through this quest and talking to him. He'll remember more about it. But like, I noticed that like I was progressing through the side quests with enough like speed that when I would talk to him, he would tell me how to do a step like 2 steps ago that I've already done. And I'm
Okay.
like,
So is
well,
that
that's great.
so we can assume that that's like the intended way to figure this all out is to kind of just like parse through the Chocobo Sage's
yeah.
like memory.
I think so. I
Oh
think that's
boy, it's
yeah,
not good.
It's rough.
It's
rough.
like everyone who has to do this should absolutely just look at a guide because at first I was like, oh, you know, it might be
no.
fun,
Don't
but
look at a guide.
look at Mike's guide.
Mike's
Saint
guide.
Mike. He put in so much work so that we all may have to only put in a lot of other work.
Yeah, that's right.
He did all of the legwork for us to make this whole thing bearable.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so our game plan is going to be this, right? We're going to find the correct Chocobos, get them to our stables, race them in the gold saucer to improve their ranking to where they're both quality enough that they'll be able to breed a different colored Chocobo. So this is like straight up fucking eugenics and really fucking shady shit
Yeah.
here. Where we're like, oh, we need to improve the class of our breed.
Or just like purebred shit, you know?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
that's true
like
too, yeah.
dog, like the dog show stuff.
It's-
I just don't understand. I'm like, all dogs are good.
even to even boiled down to just animals, like this is possibly problematic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But whatever, you know what? It's fantasy. Everything's fine in fantasy, right?
I
No, it's not. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, it's just it's hilarious because this is such a detour,
Yeah.
even like philosophically, from like everything that you're supposed to be doing up to this point. You know, it's all like
We care about the
We-
planet, right?
yeah, like we care about the planet. You know, we've got to stop. You know, we're eco terrorists, eco freedom fighters. You know, we got to save the live stream. And you're sitting here like making a bunch of like Choco McNuggets like, over and over and over again,
Yeah.
just like. So
I
you
just
can
saved and
win
reload, so I
races.
only had to make the, the correct amount.
Yeah.
And I
Sorry.
mean, I don't think we've gone into the why yet of why we're doing this, but it's very
To get the
Faustian.
perfect Chocobo.
Yeah, that'd be for now.
To take down weapon.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's very. I don't know if it's you know, really an intent of the game designers, you know, and the writers here, you know, to ask you like, what lengths are you willing to go to, you know, for the power to destroy monsters.
Which I mean will be our final reward for this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so so our game plan will be after we're able to breed different Chocobos of different colors, once again we'll feed them, race them, breed a new one,
Yeah.
go catch another one out in the wild somewhere, race that one, and then breed that one and the new one together, and eventually we're gonna end up at the correct Chocobo that we want. So it's gonna be.
Exactly. It's a lot of grinding.
Oh man, I remember when we started this last week, I was like, y'all might want to start right now.
Yeah.
Like getting this done. Usually like an hour or two is enough to do our Final Fantasy homework.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you might want to go ahead and get cracking on it this week. Especially Alex doesn't have the 3 times speed.
Oh my god.
I went through the process of going. I followed the guide. I went to some of the areas, caught some Chocobos, just to know, and also like went to the stable and just kind of get the gist of what's like having Chocobos. And then of course I just opened up Black Chocobo.
Yeah.
app
Yes,
and
You
It's
did
like
the
when
right
you
thing.
it's like when you foster a kitten before you decide that you actually want to have one of your own.
so yeah, I just loaded up my my stables with every Chocobo that I needed.
Good. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Like, if
that's
I-
the correct way.
Halfway through doing this, if I had that option, I'd be like, "Ugh, I'm gonna fucking do that.
Absolutely.
Especially because I got to name them a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
How about we'll go through it each one we catch. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So and to just kind of do a quick refresher of where to catch Chocobos.
Yeah.
On the world map, there's like Chocobo prints in certain locations,
and
and
only 3 of them matter.
yeah, exactly. And you again just look at a map that has which ones you want to be looking for.
Yeah.
Because it's still very random. Like there's still like every level of this comes down to a little bit of like RNG.
Yeah. So first we're going to be looking for a good and a great Chocobo, right? Good ones can be found outside of the Gold Saucer. There's some tracks there.
Yeah.
You can catch one of those. And when you bring the Chocobo back, it's not immediately put into the stable. It's walking around the outside of the ranch, and Chocobo Billy is like, hey, do you want to keep this one or should I let it go?
Yeah.
And he'll tell you whether it's a good one or a bad one or wonderful or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So once you get the correct one from Gold Saucer, you go to Mediel, and you catch a good one from there, or a
Yeah.
great one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 that you start with, right?
Yep.
So did you go through the whole process of racing each time?
I went through kind of a weird way. I got a wonderful Chocobo first, just because I was kind of in that area,
Yeah.
which took forever, which I'll get to when we get to that. And then I caught 2 of each, and I tried to get like the correct genders of each.
Right, because it's also
it
random
does
whether they're
matter.
male or female, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you're gonna want a good of both and a great
Yeah.
of both.
No, you don't need a good and great of both. I just got one. I got a good of one gender and a great of another gender.
Yeah. If you want to cut down some of the randomness of it, it kind of.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So-
Okay, to be fair, I did catch several goods because I knew which enemies they came with.
Yeah.
And then I went and caught one great, and I was like, by the numbers, one of the good ones should be the opposite gender of the great one, and it
Yeah,
was. And
exactly.
so I got lucky in that way, and then I just let the rest go. So yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then you can either shoot for it. Oh, you know what else we'll need to do? Because that's not actually enough. Because to breed chocobos, you have to give them a nut. Right?
Sorry, no nut November is canceled.
You have to give them a nut found from somewhere, and you can buy those from the Sage. You can buy them from Choco Billy. But to
Yeah.
get the alternate color ones, the nuts you have to give them are only found on certain enemies. So you
Yeah.
have to go steal them from fucking enemies. So we're going all around the goddamn world, like, just to get this first step done, which is so wild because, like, you have to get through so much of the Chocobo Sage's text to be able to find this out. They're like, I would be so frustrated if I didn't have access to the internet or, like,
Yeah.
an older brother or something who had done this before. You know what I mean? Like,
Or like a strategy guide or something.
yeah.
Imagine being like one of those really, like, you play a game and you're just trying to complete everything to whatever level of perfection you can understand. And the year is 1997 when Final Fantasy VII has just been released. And Mike's Chocobo guide, like, isn't going to exist for another, like,
Who knows how
several
many years?
years.
Yeah.
Like, maybe 2002?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
What did we do before Mike?
The potential of like playground banter that this could have caused.
Yeah, I
where it's
know.
like imagine being the one kid on the playground who like found a blue chocobo.
Oh, I
And they're like,
know.
"No, you idiot! It's green." And you're like, "No,
No, yeah.
oh no, it's blue." And guess what?
It swims.
There's a black one. And
Oh.
you're like, "No way! You're
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
lying, man."
That's
You're
amazing.
like, also, there's a Yoshi that you can hatch. And you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, I'm at that
There's-
point.
My dad works
There's
at Final
always-
Fantasy. He told me you can hatch Yoshi.
So what's this nut we need to get?
We need to get a Carob Nut.
That's correct.
And by a Carob Nut, I mean like at least
3 of
three.
them, yeah.
At least 3.
So another way you can get that is if you somehow save up 500 GP. And
True.
you get it
That's true.
You can redeem it for a Carob Nut. If
yeah,
you go
the gold saucer in
So-
the Wonder Square.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you're right. The way I got it was I went to an island in the inner sea, like in between the 3 major continents, and there's an enemy there that you can steal it from, which I have the name of.
Is it the Vlacorados? Because you can definitely steal it from
Vlacarados, indeed.
which is just,
Blackary-doo.
okay,
It's like a-
I gotta see this. Sorry.
it's like a red dragon, kind of like a rat.
Yoshi.
It's the red Yoshi.
It's
Yeah.
the red Yoshi.
Yeah, and they have like 30,000 HP.
They have a fuckload of HP, but not a lot of attack, so it's really just like turning
They-
on your 3 times speed.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
exist to just mug and steal from over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And morph because they morph into an elixir,
Oh.
which makes me feel much better about in the past when I would just use a glitch that we're going to talk about in a couple episodes, I feel like.
I've been waiting for this. I still don't know where this glitch is that you're talking about. and I'm
Okay.
so excited to get to it.
Okay.
I was literally getting ready to ask you if we've already talked about it.
But yeah,
We have not.
elixirs become very, very good to like grind AP. But there's like
I know the trick you're talking about.
yeah, exactly. So,
Fuck
but
yeah.
I always used to just use this glitch, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get 99 elixirs really easily, and then use that to get as much AP as I can to just max out everything. And I always felt kind of weird about that. In like, even though I'm like, no, fuck like grinding and stuff. But I was like, okay, there's only a finite amount. Like the
Yeah.
developers didn't intend for you to be able to do this. Then I'm like, wait, you can just fucking morph. So I'm not gonna sit there and morph 99 of these
Yeah,
30,000 HP things. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna fucking use that exploit.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can get the Carob Nut from the Vlacarados.
Yeah.
And so what you can do, you can just take the freshly caught chocobos, breed them together using the Carob Nut, and there's a chance that you might get a blue or green one.
I had a first try green one.
No racing?
No racing.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
I was very... It didn't help that then I only got nothing but green ones for the next, 3-4 attempts that I did with save scumming.
Okay, so bear in mind that when I say this has never been the case. And like I've said a million times, I've beaten this game several times, maybe in the double digits now, amount of times I got this game. And this is the one time it's ever happened, so don't hate me. Perfect run of these.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking green female, blue male, fucking got a black female, immediately a fucking wonderful male one. I was like, what the fuck? I've never had luck like that.
Are you Mike? Are you the Mike? Are you the Mike of the guide?
Oh no, hard lemonade, sorry.
If you actually scroll down all the way to the bottom of Mike's Chocobo guide, right there, it'll say on the page, under the credits, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Got him.
Yeah. But so...
He'll sure be mad when he hears this.
Well, it was a body double, so...
Yeah.
Where was Choco Billy when he was in the stable?
Oh, man.
Anyway, I've been talking a lot now, so so yeah, what you might have to do is race them, right?
Yeah.
Because if you rank them up, they're more likely to have offspring of the different colors.
Right.
So why don't you take us through the racing process?
Sure. Before that, I also do want to say that there is...
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We can talk about something else first. I don't care.
It's always about what I want. There is actually a formula that you can follow in order to reduce the randomness that it all is. Where a green chocobo, you will always get a green chocobo if you use a great female and a good male, and they're both class B.
Oh.
Shout outs to Mike, because I only know this because of his guide.
What's up, Mike?
So
Come on the podcast, Mike.
so that with a Carob Nut will give you a green chocobo every time. Oh wait, no. You're more likely to get a green chocobo that way. Sorry, this is very confusing, and it's
it's got math involved with it.
So yeah,
You want me to just call Mike?
Yeah, we got to call Mike and get him in the show.
He's got his phone number on the bottom. He's call me 24/7 anytime if you want to talk about Chocobos.
Okay, so to maximize your chance of getting a green chocobo, you use a great female and a good male, and they're both B class. With the Carob Nut, you're very likely to get a green chocobo. You are also less likely to get a blue chocobo out of that, but you are guaranteed to get a blue chocobo if you do a good female and a great male, both of class B, and a Carob Nut. So I ended up having to do that because I wasn't lucky like Curtis, and there was actually a glitch that can happen where the RNG in the code actually freezes. So every time you will just get a green chocobo. And there's there's been weird discussions on forums and stuff about if this is actually true or if it's just people being unlucky.
Well,
there's no definitive thing, but I found out that if you the best source that I've seen is if you exit and enter the ranch several times and then feed a green to one of the chocobos that you're trying to breed, you're more likely to unfreeze the
Okay.
So
Well,
that's how I had to get a blue one.
What's funny is the way I did it, because you can, once you immediately catch the chocobos, you can breed them right then and there.
Yeah.
So what I did was I actually bred them right then and there, but they can't breed again for a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll go race now and up their ranks.
Yeah.
So I probably did technically follow his advice in the guide.
Yeah.
Because I did it one way, then changed their rank later, came back, bred them again, and they were probably in that different.
And when I got the green chocobo, I didn't need to level up to. I had class C chocobos.
Okay.
You're telling me the Chocobos are too tired to breed, but you can take them and
to the
run
racetrack.
them around a racetrack.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Refractory period, man.
Yeah.
And the time limit, I used to think that it was
I can't wait to get the enemy skilled Choco Boner.
If your chocoboner lasts longer than 4 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can only use it once every
Sage.
7 minutes.
Call Mike.
Yeah.
Ask Billy.
Yeah, so and I was able to just like see rank, which is funny because when you read it, it looks like it says crank, and then when you level it up, it looks like it says
This
brank.
Chocobo is a crank.
Yeah, and then when you level it up, it says brank. So it's like you just replace the C with the B emoji. But yeah, I got the. I was lucky enough to get the green Chocobo.
Make a tweet like that later. Right, sorry.
I was lucky enough to get the green Chocobo first shot, and then that's when I had that like RNG glitch, and I was like, okay, I just need to like actually go and catch the correct ones and stuff, which I might have already had. It just I was being like really unlucky, so I had to grind like. I had to catch like a lot more Chocobos than I had originally intended to at this part.
Okay,
and
that sucks.
when they are too tired or they were just born, the way to like quote unquote pass time is to just get into like anywhere from 3 to 10 battles, which I think also depends on the rank. But if you do 10 battles, it's pretty much you're set to go. So I would just kind of do that, go fight the Zalem, and use Morph on it to turn it into an X potion.
You turn the Zalem into a beta.
Got him.
Got him. Fucking got him.
Got him. Got his ass.
So we're also seeing like some kind of bizarre canon on how Chocobos age as well in here.
Exactly.
They age much like any Metal Gear Solid character, but just like according to the battlefield. Yeah. So once you've raced a couple, and I should say like the racing, you basically go to the Gold Saucer, you go to the Chocobo Square, and Esther,
our old friend
Esther is there. And she says that she's going to allow us to start racing, and then we have to bring our own Chocobos. Because if you go there first, she's like, oh, you need to bring your own this time.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just give you one. And then you can choose whichever one you want from your stables from a list, and you can get into a race, right?
Yeah.
And there's a possibility when you're racing that you'll run into motherfucking Joe. Joe. Which, like...
Who's Joe?
So Joe is the one racer...
Wrong. Joe is a Chocobo.
I thought Teo was the Chocobo.
When you name your Chocobos, that is what's listed in the Chocobo racing thing. So I always thought that Joe was the racer as well, like the jockey.
But she says, doesn't she say that like Joe may show up?
Yeah, the Chocobo.
Yeah, Joe the Chocobo.
Yeah, nobody cares who the jockey is, Curtis.
If we want to be consistent,
wait, hold on,
when you're at the horse races, they aren't reading off the jockeys'
Here's my
names.
question. When you enter a race and it shows you the possible prizes, underneath you, does it say Cloud?
No. It says your Chocobo's name.
So
Curtis.
the Chocobo's name is Teo.
Curtis.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, is it okay? Look, I mean,
Hold on. I have a
I think you
picture.
might be right.
all right, but they named.
I
the
didn't
movie...
encounter Joe, so I was just very confident about being completely wrong. Something I have never once done on this show.
That's all right. I feel like we both have a pretty like bad history.
You can edit it in post. No, but that's like if you take the movie like.
We're both scrolling through our pictures.
Oh,
right now.
we've met Joe.
Yeah, we've met Joe.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's the jockey.
Boom.
Okay, Joe,
Teo
you're valid.
is the
you're right.
Chocobo.
Okay, you're right.
Ah!
Okay.
Teo.
That's like naming.
Teo.
Teo. I mean, that's like calling the movie Seabiscuit
Choco
Toby
racing.
Maguire. It's just wrong.
I love. Anyway, yeah. So
Green one, blue one, black one. Boom.
Choco Joe.
Choco Joe.
My favorite Chocobo is the one named Arl.
I took pictures of all the different. Okay,
There's
hold on, so we should say,
Arl.
hold on. Okay, so when you go to race, you tell Esther which Chocobo you want to enter. If you have Sid or Tifa in your party, there's a possibility they may elect to race in the race instead of Cloud. So there's a possibility of running around as them.
Aw.
And then you're taken to a screen where it shows you the possible rewards.
Yeah.
Right. And in the possible reward screen, you can look through your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, who we met in an old episode as like the one Chocobo jockey who didn't immediately treat us like crap. And
He was in the green room.
Yeah, he was in the green room, and we even thought that maybe he might used to have been one of the prisoners or worked his way up from the prison. Because when we say that we came up there in one day, he's like really stunned and kind of taken aback by it. But he may show up, and his Chocobo Teo is always faster than yours no matter what.
Yeah.
It's a percentage faster than yours.
Yeah.
So he's the one to beat. But yeah, I did take pictures of the names of the different ones. Or
They're
whatever,
so
like
good.
Edward and Arl.
Yeah, Arl, Sarah,
yeah.
Sean, Clive.
Just the letter T.
That was like me when I was like when I realized it was a chocobo that I didn't want, and I just
Oh
chose
my
a random
God.
character
Yeah.
to like confirm.
Yeah, it's so good.
Nancy, yeah, Teo. Jeez.
Amy showed up a lot.
Monster Mash, Zuma Crew.
So speaking of, what did y'all name your bows?
Yeah. So now we have a couple bows. Let's talk about what we named them. Okay, so all except for the final one, I just named names of utility. So they were
Yeah.
named like good, great, W for the wonderful one, green, blue, and black.
Yeah.
All right. So I named there's not enough letters, but I named the
6
golden
characters, right?
Yeah.
I named the last one Thirst, as after Thirst and Waffles, the cat.
And then we realized that we can just do Thirst, Ton, Waffles.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I know what my Final Fantasy 1 party is going to be named. There's 4 in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I thought you meant in all the letter names that you said, but yes, also that as
Hell
well.
yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. 4 characters, 4
Um,
letters.
So I named mine. Let's see. I think I did Cherry, Cheeto, Chip, and then Short. But today I came up with a lot.
Shorts or jeans for Chocobos.
I came up with a lot of better ones today. So I've got Chocobo Jangle,
Oh, hell yeah.
Chocobo Peep, Chocobo Diddley, Chocobo Jackson, and Chocobo Dallas.
Chocobo Dallas.
Chocobo Burnham.
Yeah.
There's not enough characters, but
No,
that
no.
would have been good.
good.
I named the wonderful one that I caught
Chocobo
Chonk.
Cephas. Sorry.
I named it Chonk, and then I think I named it Chonkum, so that way like I didn't get confused by
Yeah.
the gender of it.
Chocoborealis.
And then I named one of my chocobos. I think it was a female. I named it Zach, and then I got a like great male. I think that I named Aerith, and then that's kind of
Nice.
when I encountered the bug that I had to go and catch other ones, and I had already been playing for like an hour and a half trying to get everything that I needed after having already caught all the chocobos in like a previous playthrough. That took like hours, and I was just like, okay, fuck this. I got to just go with utility.
Yeah.
I think I named one of them like it was like a great female chocobo, so I named it Greta
Right, I saw that one.
after
yeah.
Cole Ross's beautiful cat Greta.
Aw.
Yeah, I was like excited. I was like, I'm gonna name them all fun names, but then this game fucking broke me with all this grinding. I was just like, fuck it.
When did you you texted us when you finally like finished your homework?
I think it was
Yeah.
like 1:30 last night.
It might have been later than that, honestly.
might
I
have
was
been.
like, I cannot believe you are still awake. Don't you have to work this morning?
I did have to work, and I had to travel for work.
Oh, no.
Alex was telling me about this.
Yeah. I mean, I like kind of just couldn't sleep last night, and I had my Switch with me, so I was like, I'll
Hmm.
just get the gold chocobo and take care of the rest tomorrow on my lunch break, and
Yeah.
then didn't get a chance to.
Oh, no. Yeah, so it can take a minute.
Yeah.
But I guess the process after we get the blue and green one, right, of different genders is not really that much
It's the same.
crazier. So we can kind of just sum it up by saying you breed the blue and green one together to
They-
get a black
Yeah.
chocobo.
And if you want to like guarantee that you get that, you just rank it up in the races to A class.
Yeah.
And it should also be said that we did talk about the Chocobo racing minigame that on the episode that we had with Justin Taylor.
Yes.
And he mentioned how there's like a weird, not sure if it's like a glitch or if it was intended or if it was just like a debug thing that they left in, where if you hold down all the trigger buttons, it will refill your stamina. So you can
Is
just
that how to do it?
Oh.
yeah, so you can just sprint and re-hold your stamina, which is like by the end of it, I was just doing that, and like
So what's funny is like when I started getting like the black chocobo and stuff, like I was so much faster than everybody else, like including like
Yeah.
Joe and Teo. Like I was doing a lot better job. So I would just like be like, you know what? I'm not gonna sprint at all because I'm tired of waiting for them to cross the finish line. So
Yeah.
I really only want to cross just before them.
yeah. So the way that like the gambling portion of the Chocobo races works with like whatever item you get at the for winning the Chocobo race, or if you're just betting on a Chocobo race and like trying
Right.
to choose which we'll talk about in a little bit, but it's just like the first two places, and it's like if Chocobo number 1 and Chocobo number 6 win, then you have like a corresponding grid that will give you
Correct.
that item. And
Yeah,
they're-
the winner and the runner-up.
Yeah,
will
so if
correspond to that.
you didn't like things being random enough, then that's always the thing. So the way that like the game has to actually play that race out, it doesn't just go like, it's not like Mario Kart where you pass the finish line and then you're like, oh, I'm on to the next race.
Right.
Like it actually matters what the second place one is. So once the second place one crosses the finish line, then you can hit start to like. I think in like the instructions or something, Esther says something like for those who like for like impatient people, you can hit start after the second Chocobo crosses the finish line. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it does. Yeah. So you can get a black Chocobo, and then you go catch the wonderful one.
Yeah.
So how do we catch a wonderful one?
Okay, so because you said you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
You have to go to the area near Icicle Inn and encounter a Chocobo next to 2 rabbits called Jumpings.
Yeah.
And whenever you find a Chocobo next to 2 rabbits, that one is definitely a wonderful Chocobo.
Yeah.
So what did you want to say about that?
So this was the first Chocobo that I got just because I was already in the Icicle area. Icicle area is also like right outside the Chocobo Sage and the little patch of grass that you can land on. That's also where you can encounter the enemy that you can steal the Carob Nut from. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to knock this all out. I'm going to get the wonderful one right away and then take care of the rest. And it took so fucking long. It took so many encounters to find the correct pairing with 2 Jumpings.
Yeah.
And then I finally did it and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna risk this. Like I'm gonna feed it a green. So I fed it a green, and then I went to use Cloud's Limit Break, and I used Meteor Rain, and it attacked not just the Jumpings but also the Chocobo, and then the Chocobo attacked me and took off, and I was like, God damn it.
Oh no.
Man,
So then
that sucks.
after like 10 or 20 more encounters of just like and also it's not every time. Like I had a maxed out Chocobo lure, which like gives you the highest chance to encounter a Chocobo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even every turn.
I will say real quick, I did the very first thing I did was I went to back to the Gelnica and I leveled up Chocobo lure all
Yeah.
the way. That's the very first thing I did when I started all this
Hell
because I
yeah.
wanted to get more encounters with them.
Yeah.
Now what's funny though is you get the wonderful Chocobo, you get the black Chocobo, you level them all the way up, and we still don't have enough things to breed the last one.
Yeah, but I also had to. I think something similar happened on the second. I think what happened was like one of my party members got confused and attacked the
No.
Chocobo like the second time, and so it took me 3 total like finding of a wonderful Chocobo
Oh,
to
my
finally
God.
catch
Which
it.
are already rare.
Yeah, and like luckily it was the first one I did, so I was just like, okay, it's a male. Like that's
That's the way we're playing
That's
this.
the baseline. I'm structuring
right.
everything else around that.
That was the last one I caught, and fucking thank God it was the opposite gender.
Yeah.
And I was just
Oh,
like,
my
thank you.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keeping score of everything so far. I mean, like,
It's so confusing.
you know, you there is a reason that people hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
there's so many working parts to it.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
many layers of RNG are we up to?
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't even tell you because it's like
Oh,
and
you
I-
are on 3 layers of RNG? You are like a little baby. Watch this.
Yeah, and it's like the other thing about it too is I saw like conflicting reports on like when it like calculates what the gender of the Chocobo is going to be.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah, I did
saw
look that up too.
I saw a thing where it's like usually like that's why like we recommend save scumming like outside of the ranch and then going
Yeah.
in. But I saw a thing that gender is calculated when you catch the Chocobo. I'm not sure how true that is because I think I saw something else.
Saying, yeah, I saw ones that say like, no, it's calculated
save
when
and-
Chocobo Billy
But-
says the gender.
and it could also be that weird RNG glitch where you have to like
Why? So a couple times I did try to have a gender change, and I would go around and fight battles, and it never worked for me.
Yeah.
Which could just be I didn't fight enough of them.
Yeah.
Or maybe it truly is determined when you first catch it. I don't know, man. This
Yeah.
game is 20 years old, and people are still having arguments about how the numbers are actually generated. in
You'll
this.
have to forgive me for not combing through all of the source code of Final Fantasy VII to get the. I'm not Mike, okay, and I never will be.
I mean,
That's exactly what Mike would say.
I mean, Aerith was never Eris until we asked her name, so
That's true.
so for all we know, it could be the same thing.
Yeah, I did name one of my Chocobos Eris too. That also reminds me. At the start of this, when I was still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and not beaten down, I was like, this is gonna be hilarious for the show. I'm gonna name every single one of my Chocobos Aerith. Just to stick it to Curtis,
Yeah, I
and then like I quickly realized that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, the amount of wasted time going in between the letters, you're just
Because like when and the reason that at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this is because I thought when you went into the Chocobo stable and looked at it, it would tell you all the stats you need. Like it's rank C, it's a female, it's a good Chocobo. It just doesn't tell you when it's a good or great or anything. Like the only time you see that is the first time you bring it into the stable.
At least their animations in the stable should give you some indication, because I know when you review them,
When you review them,
True,
it does.
that's
I,
true.
I
yeah.
love the different varying animations of you're like, this is a pretty lousy Chocobo, and it's just like this. He looks like a lame, just exhausted dragging his head.
Yeah, and the wonderful one is like screaming. It's like running so fast. Yeah.
I love the ones that bounce up and down are just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they're so funny.
I think that might also have to do with rank though.
Right.
So I'm not. Yeah, it's weird because
Well, I
there's
know when
different
you-
animations for rank as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying when you bring them in from the ranch outside, they do have different animations then, depending on their whether they're wonderful or great or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious that, they take the step into the third dimension for the first time with this game, and it's like, Squaresoft is like, what can we really do here? Let's show people sad, sick Chocobos. Like,
And you know what? Worth it.
Speaking of sad and sick Chocobos too, if you race and you deplete all of your Chocobo's stamina.
Oh yeah, it does that animation.
But yeah, it's got a really goofy animation where it like kind of walks, but there's also like to show you what place your Chocobo is in. There's just like a Chocobo with a number above it and like the colors that correspond to the racers and stuff. And it just has the dumbest little like it's got like swirly eyes and it's like its tongue is sticking out a little bit.
I know the one you're talking about. Also, I think the last place Chocobo, does it do that automatically?
Maybe.
Or maybe
after you cross the finish line.
Maybe
I think
so,
so. Yeah.
Let's see here. So okay, so we're still not ready to breed the last one after we have
Yeah.
a black one and a wonderful one.
I also named my my black Chocobo Goku to remember that it was because of Goku Black from
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super.
So there's an island toward the northeast where there's a forest on an island, and you can land the high wind there, and you can get into a fight with only goblins there.
so it's funny you mention this. Rhode Island is technically not an island.
Monster Island's actually a peninsula. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to make that Simpsons joke again, which I think I made previously on an episode. But yeah, goblins aren't the only thing that you can. So
just
there-
FYI, we're looking for a thing called the Zeo Nut.
yeah, the Zeo Nut.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which
Zeo Nut.
shout outs to my friend Zeo. I don't think you're listening, but
Also, it is missing an E.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Come on the podcast and defend yourself. Zeo. Zeo, if he is listening, he'll just be sitting there and go, all right. But yeah, so we need to get like the ultimate nut, the Zeo Nut, on Goblin Island, which is I think first of all the best fucking name for an island ever. But in some places, it's not called Goblin Island because it's called Goblin Forest.
Okay.
But I'm trying to remember. I think you can only encounter the goblins in the forest on Goblin Island. So that's why some guides call it Goblin Island, but it's actually called a Goblin Forest instead of Goblin Island. Because if you're just walking around on the island, you will not encounter a goblin.
Yeesh.
This episode's really easy to keep track of. There's a reason Alex has a notepad with handwritten notes.
I would just like to say
That's actually for the next section.
up to this point, I know I'm going to ruin it by saying this now, but up to this point, we've been very responsible with the word nut, and I'd like to congratulate all of us.
If you're listening to this, just one more week, man.
I know. Like this
The
part
ultimate
is
nut is on the precipice. It's right around the corner.
Alex is like, all right, now for a new segment I like to call Nut Watch.
Oh, man.
Fuck, man. Yeah, I know. Like this whole side quest is like
Sucks.
It's rough enough that like
It's a side quest or is it a passion?
Yeah.
but it's like rough enough that we're all like demoralized here in the
Yeah.
podcast studio, like talking
Yeah.
about it. We're like talking about this mini game and being like, I just don't know. I just don't know if I can go on with this.
Yeah.
It's funny because you know earlier on I had mentioned like this is kind of one of those like parts of a game that really test your mettle, like kind of like sees what you're made out of. This is the reason. I kid you not. This is the reason I have never finished Final Fantasy VII.
Holy shit.
Like this.
This is your last
has gotten in my
opportunity to be
way.
on the podcast. This is the last thing that you know about.
This is
You're like an angry fisherman who has tried to fight like the legendary fish or like a whale before, and like we're getting ready to go out to it, and you're like, Oh, you're going out to breed the Chocobos, are you?
Trying to get Goldie, huh?
I've spent 40 years of my life trying to breed a golden Chocobo. You have like a peg leg and a wooden eye. Like you're warning people who decide to play Final Fantasy VII.
There's a
before they
reason.
go out.
I mean, there's a reason the green one was good enough for the Sage.
Yeah, even the Sage is just like, yeah, it's fucking fine.
Everything here is just taunting you and demoralizing you and asking just like how far you're willing to go, how much you're willing to suffer.
I will say this. I really enjoy watching the Chocobos race. I think it's very cute.
It is very cute. It's very fun. It actually is kind of a fun game.
That's a fun mini game. I like that one.
Especially with Initial D music. behind it.
I also completely forgot to mention this. If you don't feed your Chocobo any greens, it will not listen to you. It's straight up Pokemon rules where like if you don't have the correct gym badge, because
I know it has an intelligence stat. Maybe that's that stat.
Maybe, yeah. Well, after it goes through all the stats when you feed it the greens, which like the
speed, stamina,
Yeah.
intelligence. Yeah.
exactly, like you can max it out, like I said, with like several like of the Silkus greens. But if you don't feed it enough greens, then it like just won't listen to you. So when you're in automatic, it runs just fine. But if you're in manual, it like runs like shit. It just all over the place. Yeah, and I was streaming as I was doing this to try and make it less of a grind, and like people were interacting with me, and like everyone was like, "Oh, is there a reason? Like, is there a strategy for why you're not just like hugging the right?"
I was like,
And
yo,
I was
you
like-
shouldn't be on the left side. You should be on the right side of the wall.
Yeah, and I like my Chocobo's just like running like wild. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I like went back and like read Esther's instructions again to see like what I was doing wrong. I'm like, I'm not controlling this correctly, or my controller is broken or something. And I was like, no, these fuckers just aren't listening to me.
Well, I mean, a stick shift isn't for everybody. I learned that the hard way.
But yeah, so it's crazy because there's like a lot to it, but like it's all just
It's literally all just grinding too.
it is.
It sucks.
But I digress. Once we get the Zeo Nut, we can come back and we can take 2 S-level black Chocobo and a wonderful Chocobo.
Can actually just be level A, I'm pretty sure.
I probably can.
A rank.
Yeah. I went ahead and got them to S because I was just like, they're fast enough. They can beat Joe and Teo.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And it's just you have to just win 3 races in a row.
To
Or
rank
not
up.
even in a row, I think.
Just
3
3.
races in general to rank up. So
That's
it's pretty
correct.
quick.
Yeah. But once we have the 2, did you want to say something, Alex?
No, it was like what do we have now? We have a black Chocobo that's S rank.
Yeah.
And
Which
a
we
wonderful
Oh,
Chocobo.
that just could be any color, or does it
The
have to be-
wonderfuls are always yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One that we caught from outside of Icicle Land.
With the
So
2
that-
jumpings.
Correct.
Gotcha.
The one that I just remembered too. The second time I encountered a wonderful Chocobo, I stupidly again used Death Blow with Tifa, and it hit. And then she went to attack the next thing in the line, which is the Chocobo.
No.
So she just attacked. I was like, God
Ugh.
fucking damn it!
So we have the 2 Chocobos. We have the Zeo Nut. They're different
We are
gender
ready to
Chocobos.
go.
We're ready to go.
And that
And
motherfucker Choco Billy says that you need to wait because it was just bred.
Yeah, because they just bred.
So
They
you need to go to the Gelnica like I did and
fight 10 battles.
Fight 10 battles and try
Come
to get
back.
as many sources as you can, and then go back.
And then you talk to Choco Billy. You tell him which 2 you want to breed together. You give him the Zeo Nut. The screen fades to black. And finally, at the end of this whole fucking thing, the screen comes up. Donald Duck. We finally got him. We finally got him, y'all.
Thank God.
All right, Remy, you're the guest on the podcast. Say Sephiroth in Donald Duck's voice. All right,
That's
I'll take
really
it. No, I'll
good.
take it. I'll
That's
take it.
really good.
I would put you in the top 10 anime non-betrayals.
I think if Emily was here, she could really pull that one off.
Might be able to do a good one. Yeah. Anyway, no, we get the golden Chocobo.
Unless
Damn it. I hate this minigame. Like, I got lucky this time, but like,
I remember being like,
I'm leaving.
I remember being excited and being like, I remember this really sucking, but I'm actually looking forward to like really diving into it. And like then I just kept running into all the worst luck, and I was just like, well, at least I got the fail conditions of just how shitty this can go, so I can talk about it on the podcast.
Right.
But according to Mike, which I did not have the energy to test this out, but I believe him because Mike is a saint, as we all know.
Thank you, Mike.
It says in red underneath the gold Chocobo thing, note, due to a bug in the game, the black Chocobo must be selected first. So if you just go to the wonderful Chocobo, which might be closer to you, and then choose the black one, you'll just get a fucking regular ass Chocobo.
Can you just wait for them to recharge and try it again?
Yeah, but I think
But if you didn't
always
know,
have,
though,
yeah, you
you'd
got to
be
go
like,
back.
what is happening?
You got to go back to Goblin Peninsula and.
Yo, can I also say that, like, they don't give up the Xeonuts easy. You have to try to mug or steal a lot to get one.
Yeah.
I was using, like, mug command, and I would take out entire teams of them without ever, like, being able to steal one.
Because they sometimes come in like 4s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd have, like, Yuffie have it, and it would take her, like, 3 hits to
Yeah.
kill one with a mug. And so she would spend, like, 12 turns in it, destroy the whole thing, and I wouldn't get one of them.
Do
It
we
was a
have-
massacre.
Do we have like just a running like tally of how many battles, just
It
how many
took to
random
fucking-
battles you have to keep going through, all the steps along the way?
We
We got to
should
go
have.
to that
It's a
cave.
lot.
We got to go to that cave with the 311 guy, with the 311 fan.
I mean,
He's
again,
like, come back and talk to me when you have an amber chocobo.
Yeah, amber is the color of your chocobo. Yeah. So we, if you talk to the black one first, we have a golden chocobo.
We
Finally,
did
we
it!
did it.
We did it. It's
Yo,
1:30 in the morning. You have work the next day. You have to drive an hour and a half to
Now-
get to work.
Before I went and did all the special things we can do, like the reason for doing this entire side quest in the first place.
Yeah.
I took him back to the races. I filled him up with Silkus Greens. I was like, we're going back. We're going as far as we can on this thing. We're going to take... And, yo, Gold Chocobo will destroy everyone. Like,
Yeah.
the worst part is when you start racing with a Gold Chocobo, you get to the end of the race, and everybody else is still on, like, the first turn. And so you just have to sit there and wait for, like, 2 to 3 minutes for, like, the next one to catch up.
I
So, like-
noticed with the black chocobo, if you're on 3 times speed, it's moving so fast. It's like
You can't
the-
even, like, see the background going by.
Yeah,
It's
like,
hard, yeah.
There's a part where you run on like a colorful, like checkered floor, and it's like it's just scrolling past, and you can't even really tell that it's checkered.
Yeah.
It's great.
Also, we should say that there are 2 different courses that we can take, a short one or a long one.
Yeah.
And when you were on your stream doing it, I remember you're like, which one should we do? And I was like, short, do the short one.
short.
Because
I was
like you're going to have to wait for so long. But Alex made a good point that you actually did the long one time, right?
Yeah.
I went ahead and did that very last thing before. I did it today before the podcast. And I was like, what does the long course look like? Because we didn't get to see it when we raced originally.
Yeah.
It's wacky.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You go like underwater and you're like running past dolphins and shit. There's a mountain with an angry face carved into it, like
Oh yeah,
or a
yeah.
volcano, I guess. Like a bunch of dragons are like running by. It's fucking crazy.
There's a
You're running
ramp.
through like satellites.
There's a ramp with a cave on it on Koopa Beach, and if you jump at the right time or you have a power up mushroom, you can just like
There's
cut
a
out
farm
half of
just
it.
with a bunch of JPEGs of cows.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It's called Moo Moo Farm.
I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually really cool. So it is worth doing at least once.
Yeah.
But for me, only once. 'Cause then, especially if you're racing in rank C and you pick the long course and you have the gold chocobo, when you hit the end, you may as well like go make yourself dinner or something like that, because it's gonna take a while for the other ones to catch
Now,
up.
am I misremembering this, or did they also release Chocobo Racing as a standalone?
It is a standalone video game as well, Chocobo Racing. So hey, this is every FNFF. I say it counts.
Yeah, we got to play it.
We gotta play
We'll
it.
get to it.
That's right. Which I am 100% I'm wrong about this, but I remember thinking it was all right. Which we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't have weird, random bugs.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You have to
I'm gonna
read
learn the
this one
speed run.
first.
But the important thing, the thing I wanted to say was because the final reason to get the golden chocobo is to get different items.
Yeah.
If you take it back to the races and you win 10 S rank races, you actually get a special set of items.
Oh, really?
So if you do that, Esther says, "That's amazing. This is the winningest jockey in S rank ever since Joe."
Hell yeah. Fuck you, Joe.
Yeah, fuck you, Joe.
I'm sorry I confused you with your chocobo, Joe, but fuck you.
She says, "Good job. Here's a little something from me." And you receive sprint shoes,
Nice.
precious watch,
Hell yeah.
the cat's bell, choco bracelet, and a counterattack materia.
Ooh, counterattack material. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So you get all that stuff at once. You can also win the magic counter materia by just racing as well.
Yeah.
And mass amounts of GP. But
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we are already like an hour into complaining about this. So
Yeah.
before we get to the mini games and before we take our break, do you all want to talk about the materia that we can get? Or should that be after the break?
Whichever is fine with you guys.
Let's do it.
I tell you what.
I mean,
You know what? I take it back. Let's do it after the break.
Hell yeah.
Because I
Okay.
think we're gonna want to sit and talk
Yeah.
about some of these items for a minute.
Hell yeah.
So why don't we turn in for the fucking night and never breed chocobos again.
Yeah, let's go and breed a chocobo, which also plays the in music, which you cannot go through 3 times speed.
Yeah. Oh, when you're feeding them too. Because like I told you, I fed them like 90 or whatever. You can't just hold up and increase the number.
Yeah.
You have to press it. Your number. So I was pressing it 99 times
Yep.
every time I wanted to feed them.
Yeah, and you can't just hit down to go from 0 to 99. You
Yeah,
have to go
you
through
can't.
all of it. Yep.
What a frustration. I'm tired of this.
Also, it plays a jingle for each one that you feed it, which you can
Boring, boring, boring,
What?
boring, boring.
which you can
That's
speed
why
it
it
up.
took so friggin' long. My thing I had my sound effects turned down was like, did my game just freeze? 'Cause I just like looking at this black screen of the Chocobo, like as I'm guessing the sound effects were playing. I just
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, that does.
It's funny on 3 times speed when
Yeah,
you
it's
go,
just like
it goes, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. 3 chocobos down. Blah.
All right, let's go. Let's go to the end. Never do this terrible, terrible thing again.
have your pet spayed and neutered.
All chocobos are bastards.
Anyway, yeah,
And we're back.
we're back.
we're back. No,
That's right.
With my Choco Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to not say before your choco.
I know. I was
Because,
trying.
I mean,
I was
just
like, is
fuck
there any
that thing.
appropriate way to say
No.
that? So we were in the same place.
I was trying
and I
to-
was also
What,
not going to do it.
Chocobo before you go? Is that what you're saying?
Choco
That's way
bros
better.
before your choco hose.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
trying to think of a way to like insinuate that I was gonna say that, and then spin it in a funny way
Yeah.
to not say it because fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It's fine to put it now because we said how much we don't like it.
Yeah.
So we have a golden chocobo now.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's pretty great. And what? Tell us what it does.
I'm gonna let you field that one, or should I? I'll talk about the first thing, because I didn't actually realize.
Well, let me tell you what the gold chocobo will do.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh,
will,
yeah,
It will stand with you on a mountain. It will bathe with you in the sea. It will lay like this forever.
Yeah. So the chocobo, the gold chocobo, finally gives us agency over like everything. Like
Yes.
it can just traverse everywhere. It can
Correct.
run across oceans. It can run across rivers. Yada yada yada. So the first place that I always go with the golden chocobo is the round island that I've talked about.
Wait, can we do it last?
Sure.
I
Sure.
know. That's
I'll
so
let you-
rude. That's so rude for me to say that.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that's the one I want to talk about the most.
Sure.
So let's talk about it last.
Yeah. You take it away.
If that's okay.
No, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So the very first one that I went to was the one near Medial in that like archipelago of all those islands. There's a cave down there you can go to only with the golden chocobo because there's no other way to get to it.
Yeah.
And you can get Quadra Magic, the materia for that, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
what's interesting is these caves all look kind of similar too, that we get these materia in, but they're like unique areas. Like they've
Yeah.
like created this whole background and like unique area of like of interesting looking caves
And it kind of has
just
some,
for these one rooms.
and it kind of has some interesting lore too.
Does it?
Yeah, just kind of like when you
Oh,
go
yeah,
to
you're right.
interact with the like I don't have a screenshot.
I
of
do,
it, but
I do.
when you interact with like you walk in and it's playing like a different song that's like nice
Yeah.
and like kind of soothing. Is this the only place in the game that it plays? I don't think it
I don't
is.
think so.
Or these places, I should
But it has
say.
like kind of a whimsical sound to it. And
Yeah.
when you interact with it, and the cool thing is none of these materia are round. They're
Yeah.
pyramid shaped.
Yeah.
Is it a tetrahedron? Does it have 4 sides? It looks like it's a tetrahedron.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, when you interact with it, a dialogue box pops up that says, "Over the course of many years, Mako energy crystallizes into materia, ...
Yeah.
And then tells you, in this case, received Quadra Magic.
Hell yeah.
Right? So Quadra Magic, cast 4 spells at one time.
Yeah.
Sick.
Fucking awesome.
So, is it... I didn't actually equip it yet. Is it 4 different ones can you cast at once? Or is it the same one 4 times?
Offhand, I'm not sure. Let me see.
Yeah, we should look that up real quick.
Quadra Magic. Oh, so it just makes you do it 4 times in succession. So it will
Whichever,
only...
it's a linked thing?
Yeah, it's a support materia. So when you cast it, it will like if say you have like Fire 3 or maybe a really good summon that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it only.
Wait, does it
uses
work
the-
with summons? I think it only works with magic.
No, it works
yes.
with summons. Yeah.
Does it? Because isn't there a
Yes.
special one for summons called W summon?
Yes, but I think this is also. So there is one summon in particular that doesn't work with it.
Okay, that we'll be getting
We
to.
haven't gotten yet.
Okay, all right, all right. So yeah, that's cool. 4 magic at once. There's a similar cave on the continent of Wutai. All right.
Yeah.
I went there. You go in there, and you can get. And each time you talk to any of these, it says the same little blurb about Mako
Mako,
crystallizing.
yeah.
And this is the mime materia.
Hell yeah.
So mime materia, if you're just like normal playthrough, it's all right. Basically, it mimics the last action that
Yeah.
took place in the battle, right? That your party committed.
Yeah.
Committed. Which on its own, cool, right? You fucking have somebody cast Ultima, and your next character doesn't even need to have the materia Ultima.
Yeah.
They can just mime it and will cast Ultima because it's what your last party member did.
Yeah.
This can be abused ridiculously in the
Yeah.
craziest ways.
Yeah.
Where you can have your party member like Alex attacking 8 times every time they counterattack.
Yeah.
Or like casting giant summons like multiple times in a row for free sometimes. Like
Yeah.
ridiculous usage on this thing if you want to get down and dirty with it and like really learn what they can attach to.
And you know I do want to get down and dirty.
All right. Do we want to do it now?
No,
I'm not ready yet because
No,
I
no, no.
haven't done the research on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I just mean in general.
We will.
In general.
Okay. In between, so do you remember when we crossed over from Costa del Sol to Corel, we went through the mountains?
Yeah.
So now we can actually take the Chocobo and run into those mountains and not have to take the bridges.
Yeah.
And there's another cave there. And there we get the HPMP materia. Very interesting.
Which is and it's got like the lesser than greater than symbols to
the
point
middle.
like they're pointing at each other. Like HP is pointing
Yeah,
at
HP less than hyphen greater than MP.
MP. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically what it does is it switches those two numbers around,
Yeah.
right?
So you can have like if you're maxed out, you can have 999 HP and have like 9,999
MP.
MP.
Instead of regularly where you would max out 9,999 HP and 999 MP.
Exactly, yeah.
Correct. So you can get lots of MP this way.
Hell yeah. Do you ever use this?
No, but I don't really go for I never really go for a what would you call it?
Magic like
gimmick
offense.
setups.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like this is a good way to get into a gimmick setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you set up some like version of your characters and your materia that allows you to just be crazy OP using some sort of like interesting strategy.
Yeah.
But usually I'm just like, whatever, man. The attacks in this game get so strong that I don't need that kind of ridiculousness.
Well,
You know
right.
what I mean?
I was going to ask, like, without spoiling anything that's to come ahead,
Yeah.
I mean, is there ever going to be a case where you're going to need more than 999 MP?
Well, the very next thing we get, and this is okay, Carl. You go ahead and take this one because this is what you were saying earlier.
Sure, yeah. So which I've alluded to like many times on the show, in the very top right corner of the map, you actually can't see it on the map.
Yeah,
but
it's unmapped.
I think it's called Round Island, right?
I did not check.
I think that's like actually the name of it, and it's just that. It's like a round island. It's circled with mountains, and it has a forest in it. So
I
there's-
did check that you can fight goblins there.
Oh, can you?
So,
Oh, hell yeah.
not that the Zeo Nut is of any use now that we have a golden chocobo.
Yeah, unless you want 6 golden chocobos, in which case, God help you. Mike help you.
Mike, help you.
But yeah, we go in, we get the same kind of prompt and everything, and we get the Knights of the Round material.
Yo, what a materia.
Which, this is the most
Oh,
powerful.
and also, can I correct you here?
Yeah.
It's the Knights
Oh.
of Round.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not even of the.
Oh no, we might have to give Mike at least one Pinocchio. because
Oh.
in his guide it says
Oh.
Knights of the Round.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that is one Pinocchio.
Never meet your heroes.
So this is a summon.
Keys to ancient, right?
The key to ancient. So this thing has some. I was gonna say real life lore behind it, where like this is the materia where your friends get it and go, "Yo, have you seen this?" When you're younger and in like
Yeah.
middle
The
school,
sick
and
metal
like,
band just gangs up on whatever.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't actually use it this
pretentious.
time. I just got it and just moved on. But I feel like there's enough interesting things about it that I'm willing to like start talking about it right now. And as we talk about it, go to the wiki page for it
absolutely.
and start reading it.
So, I mean, for some people, this is definitely a point of contention, I think, between, where you have the first 6 installments and then you're moving forward from like 7 and beyond.
Yeah.
Like, do I really need to be here for all of this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, So the summons all play animations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like this
They do.
animation is like a solid minute and a half long.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not that long. It's probably like 30 seconds, but like 30 seconds when you start counting it like
Yeah,
in
or-
time, it adds up.
Especially if you're using it with, well, it actually doesn't work with the Quadra Magic that we were just talking about, but if you use it with like W summon or something like that and summon it twice, then, it's just kind of eating away time.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty righteous. So when you use it, it uses it. So like the name of like an attack that a summon uses is not actually the name of the summon itself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So the summon is Knights of Round, and it uses the attack Ultimate End.
Hell yeah.
Right, and like, so it's special in that the max amount of damage you can do in this game is 9999. Right, 4
Right.
nines. The way to circumvent that, if you want to do more, is by using multiple hits. So like Comet, right? Comet
Yeah.
has multiple hits. If each one does so much damage, it can total over 10,000.
Yeah.
Right. So Knights of the Round does a lot of fucking damage each hit, and each one of the like 13 Knights of the Round Table or whatever, like from European lore, comes out and does some giant devastating attack and will do like 5,000-6,000 damage. And then the next one will phase in and do some damage, and then the next one, and it takes a
Yeah.
long time.
And they all kind of have different like weapons that they attack with. Like the first
Yeah.
one kind of attacks with something that looks like Cloud's like rune blade that we've seen before, and
Yep.
then there's like a lance or like like a magic rod kind of thing, and mace, longsword, that whole thing.
Yep.
This would be something good to use mime with.
It could be something good to use mine with. A W summoned knights, maybe, and then
Yeah.
use mime.
If you really want to just like let your in-game time like skyrocket, then
There is some like real cool stuff you can do with it.
Can you 3-deck speed through it?
You can.
yeah.
That's good.
Do you remember the steal as well materia?
Yes.
Allowing you to steal when you attach it to a materia?
Oh yeah.
So Knights of the Round can be paired with steal as well, and each individual hit counts as a stealing attempt.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so you can steal 13 times
But
in one move.
But does it if you steal the item on the first try, does it just say like nothing to steal after that?
I don't know. I didn't actually use it myself.
We'll have to
I should
try
have
it.
to. Yeah,
We'll have to
I might
try
have to
it.
do that. So there's a lot of like real crazy abuse that you can do with
Yeah.
this. It's real wild.
Yeah. We're still not like fully there with all of the different materia stuff that we have, but there's a lot of goofy stuff that we can do like later on when we get a couple more. Like we've talked about W summon, but there's also a materia that lets you like when you die, like when your character gets knocked out,
The
it can
final
cast-
attack.
Yeah, which can be paired with this or a better summon to pair that with.
You can also pair it with the HP absorb
Oh, really?
materia. Yeah, and so like if you pair it with HP absorb, you just cast it and are back at full health because
Oh.
they do so much fucking damage that even if you have like 1 HP out of 9,999, you cast it with HP absorb and you're back at full, baby. You're good to go again. Now, what Remy was saying a second ago though about the HP MP switch or whatever, this costs 250 MP to cast.
Yeah.
Which right now is like the total of my MP.
Yeah, and I think that's the highest cost for MP in the game.
Yeah,
Right? I don't
yeah.
think there's anything higher than that. We'll fact check that
Now,
later.
I
but-
believe Mime also casts without MP. Like you don't have to pay the MP cost.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, again, we can't use it with Knight of the Round or Knight of Round,
Quadra
whatever.
Magic.
Quadra Magic, yeah, that will only do the single use. So if you're using Ultima, which also has a high MP cost,
Yes.
like you can use it 4 times for the cost of 1.
Yeah. And
You
the-
can't
and-
afford to not get these deals.
It's funny because Alex has come across something over here that kind of brings everything home in terms of just like how far you can really take this.
So I looked up a page called basically the most powerful materia combinations possible.
Okay.
And the second to most is so
I'll say we'll probably get to them when we talk about the weapons.
but yeah, so it says Knight of the Round is the most destructive summon materia in Final Fantasy VII. It's a long animation that displays 13 knights and massive. However, you can endure the length of damage if you can cast. There's a way you can do 7 of them at the same in
Holy
one turn.
shit.
So to accomplish this, you need to attach 7 magic counter materias with 6 mind materias and the HP to MP materia. If all your materia has been mastered, then it's possible to do over 900,000 damage points in a single fucking turn.
Damn.
And so, like we were saying, so you can get that many mimes and everything, right? Because when you master a materia, it makes another one of itself. So you just spend enough time mastering the materia, you get all of them, and then you do over 900,000 damage, which is still not enough to kill a Chocobo, I'd like to point out.
They are the most OP things. They are the only thing in the show so far that has broken all of our spirits.
Yeah, I know.
And they cannot be stopped. God help us all.
And they'll be here soon. Yeah, so Knights of the Round, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking materia.
Now you know why the band that we had 2 members of
Was
now
Knight
you
of
know
the
what
Round,
they're named
yeah.
after.
That's right.
This might not go in, but I wanted to bring up the most powerful number 1, which is you can do over 1 million damage points.
Oh shit, really?
Which is
Jesus.
yeah. So if you combine 8 sets of mastered mind materia linked to 8 sets of mastered counter materia, you can deal over 1 million damage points if Cloud is fighting with maximum stats. That's using Omni Slash.
Okay.
Oh,
So you just need to hit your opponent with one Omni Slash and allow him to hit you in order for Cloud to counter 8 rounds of Omni Slash for 1 million damage hit points.
Oh,
shit.
wow.
That's enough to defeat all the weapons and boss in the game at one single turn.
Hell yeah. I will say the first time that I played through this game, when I got to the final boss, I was in a moment of not being able to really beat the final boss.
Yeah.
Because just of status effects that were going on. And all I had was Cloud, who had this summon, and I just used this summon over and over and over again, and easily beat the last boss. Because we're always talking about how you can really trivialize a lot of the battles in this game.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is definitely a way to do it.
This is the trivializer.
Yeah, this hits
is
13 times.
Lord.
It-
Just hits different.
I was gonna say one might say this just hits different.
Wow. So yeah, that's the last summon in the game, right? Well, I mean, there's one more we can get later, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's not Night of the Round.
Yeah, this is the.
or, I'm sorry, Knights of Round.
This is the ultimate end, as it were.
Ooh.
Speaking of summons, did you see the delightful remake of Chocomog summon?
I haven't seen it yet.
I saw the Twitter account post about it, but I haven't gotten a chance to watch it.
It looks
yet.
so fun. It looks like a big old stampede with a Mog
I
riding
love
on Chocobo
it.
with
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole
I wonder.
swarm.
I wonder if there is a 12.5% chance of summoning a fat Chocobo.
There fucking better be, or else
I
I'm
bet there'd be
returning.
a whole stampede of just fat Chocobos. I'd be so happy.
Oh, that would be great.
they all just kind of waddle up and push you. Yeah.
Wop, wop.
Hey, and while we're at it, because I talked about we mentioned this last time, and I said no, let's save it till next episode. You want to go back to Wutai real quick and get the extra items there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do this yet, but
Is it okay if we do it? Or?
yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, I figured this would be a good time because we're running around the world collecting a bunch of extra
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
And we actually got the item to do it last time. Right?
Yeah, the Leviathan Scale.
Exactly, yeah. So if you go back to Wutai and you go to the Dachau Mountain, when you get into that cave that's full of fire, you can walk up to the fire and it says, "The scale of the sea god shines," and the fire gets pushed back, and you can now walk past it. And there's some fire in the back of the cave. And I messed up on what I said earlier. Of course, y'all don't remember the steel as well materia because it's here.
Hell yeah.
That's when we get it. And I was like, you know what? I could swear that there's another item in this cave. I really think that there's another item, but I can't remember where it is. It turns out that the first flame, once it pushes back, it doesn't push back all the way, and you can run into the fire again, and it'll push it back even further.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. And you get the Oritsuru, which is a new weapon that is just not as good as what we have right now. So.
Yeah, it's actually a weapon for Yuffie. It looks like, and it looks like the image of it is like an origami. It looks like an origami paper crane.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. But yeah, so we can get that here.
Nice.
All right.
Not as good as the conformer.
Yeah, right. Which is her best weapon. Yeah.
Everyone must conform. Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
we're going back to fucking Gold Saucer.
let's finally talk about the fucking mini games at the Gold Saucer. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! What do you guys have? Anything you especially want to go with first?
I just went room by room, clockwise from left to right.
Okay.
That's kind of how I
Great. So round would be first. Yes.
round.
No, wait, not round.
Yes.
Yes.
Well.
What's the one with the fucking roller coaster?
Oh yes, that's Speed Square.
Yeah.
So before there's the event square, which is the where we did the play with
Yes.
whoever we went on the date with.
right.
If not
Except for Barrett.
Not for Barrett.
Yeah.
Chicken. But then yes, there's the speed square, which is the basically Super Smash Bros. Melee end credits minigame.
Oh my god,
Right.
yeah, holy
Yeah.
shit.
So here's what I want to know. I've read that. Okay, so like you're saying, it's very reminiscent of that Smash Brothers credits where like there's a cursor on screen and we're shooting lasers out of a roller coaster car that we're riding. Right? It's like riding on a roller coaster,
Extra dangerous.
extra
Yeah.
dangerous, and
Well,
you have little lasers.
Yeah, it's like I think they have real rides like this, like in like Disney World or something, where it's like it's not quite like a full roller coaster, but it's
Yeah.
like you have like a little light gun, like a little laser tag gun, and you can shoot different things and like rack up points, and it's
Okay.
like I think there's like a Buzz Lightyear light in the real world, or IRL as we call it, that like is a similar thing. So I think it's trying to go for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is I read that there are different speeds of the cursor in different consoles, and the speed of the cursor on the Switch was almost fucking uncontrollable.
It's fucking horrible.
Like
It's
you just
not-
barely tap left or right, and you are aiming at the far left or far right of the screen. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
terrible.
no.
So this, I know I had mentioned this before on one of the episodes about this minigame really not holding up, I think. It could just be that the Switch version doesn't play very well, but it's very hard to control. It's hard to like rack up points. But basically you just kind of go through, there's different targets that you can hit, and each one has different points.
Yes.
I don't think we really need to go over like which ones have which amount of
Yeah.
points or whatever, but like
You might
some
there's-
have more.
There's some
have,
special exceptions. There's like a single shining satellite that you can shoot at the very end that will give you a lot of points.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a really large UFO that you can shoot for a lot of points. Does anybody have the amount of points that they came out of it with?
I don't have those screenshots anymore, but I will say that
420.
I cheated.
Oh, okay.
Not really, but there's a like thing that when I was originally doing this, I only found one like reference of this, and it was a YouTube video that just seemed like it was like clickbait and like not real, because it says in all caps, FF7 easily get over 25,000 points in Speed Square. You only have to hit one thing that gives you 25,000 points.
Fuck off.
I'm dead serious.
What is it?
So
Wait, I knew this. I read about this.
At the very end, or like towards the end, I think it's after the balloon section. I might
Okay.
be wrong about that. You'll have to ask Lane Face on YouTube.
Okay.
But there is like a almost like a what's it called? Like a Zeppelin or something. There's like a big purple like blimp that's flying by,
okay.
and if you shoot its propellers, you just get an instant 25,000. So
Fuck yeah.
that's enough to like be in first place and get the item. So
Did
this
you
is,
get all the items that way?
this is where you get when we're going way back a couple of episodes. This is where you can get one of Aerith's weapons.
The
I think it's
umbrella.
The umbrella, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also get a Sid weapon here this time around.
Okay.
So
Is it 25,000?
yes.
Because I'm looking at hold on, PC. Oh, that's so weird. So on PC and mobile versions only, it's only 49.60.
4960. Weird.
Which is still enough to get to the top.
I think you just need like 3,000.
3,000,
Yeah, which is
yeah.
tough if you don't know about this or like and
The
you're
big,
trying
the
to
big
play.
UFO is only 1,000.
Yeah.
I got 1590. Not enough to do it, and I said, you know what? I did not
Not
have
worth
fun.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and I
Not
think it's
doing
like
it.
one of those joke weapons where is it the mop that you can get for Sid?
We got
And
the
here-
mop somewhere else.
Okay.
I don't think it's the mop. I think
It's-
it's something else.
Yeah, it's one. I think
It's the
one.
flare. The flare.
The flare.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah. So and I think it's just another one of these weapons that doesn't have any materia slots, but it has like an amped up.
yeah.
I could be wrong about that. But.
Where are we going next, Alex?
I just said the player can earn
Oh.
both the umbrella and the flare only before/after the player gets the airship. Wait, that's any time you get the airship. Why does it say
Yeah.
that?
So
Probably because
you
we
can-
don't have Eris anymore, and
Yeah.
so the
Oh,
umbrella
right.
wouldn't make sense to get.
exactly. Imagine if you're like, hey, congratulations, you won the prize. Here, take this umbrella. It's like, oh, only one person in our party can use this. Who is it? And then everyone just looks around and
You can use it as
they
an
all get
umbrella.
sad. You go to her grave and put it there.
It's raining, and you're like, I wish this had a use.
So, all right. After Speed Square, there's there's the round square, which is if you go there, which is the gondola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that says they're out of order.
Okay.
For
Oh,
some
that's
reason.
a bummer.
It's
Yeah.
a bummer. I wanted to go on the date again. And then
Go on a date with everyone.
Then there's the Ghost Square, which is the spooky hotel
Yeah.
where we first see Sid sleeping in an electric chair or whatever.
Also, where we first hear Kefka's laugh slowed down.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's the Battle Square, which we talked a little bit about. Dio.
Did you all want to do any Battle Square stuff?
Oh yeah, Battle Square. How much did we talk about?
I jumped into it and lost immediately, and I was like, you know what? I'll let Carl and Alex talk about it because fuck this.
Well,
Did we talk about it on the podcast?
I think we did a little bit with your
we talked
your
about the way
goof
it
'em up.
works.
Because
Yeah.
we did talk about it with because we needed to play around to get the keystone from Dio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went through all the effects, and I told Carl whether they were whack or tough
Oh
to
yeah,
deal with.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
we're pretty well covered here.
But we probably should talk about the prizes.
yeah.
Right.
Because there might be a good prize
At the Battle Square.
in the Battle Square.
Okay.
There might be a couple, but there might be especially one good one. Yeah,
So there's a couple notable ones. Like you can get just like low level stuff like for pretty low cost, like potion, Phoenix down, that sort of stuff. Actually, no. I think there's different prizes for different sections of the game, and the way that the game actually like points it out is before you get the Tiny Bronco, which is like our first visit to Gold Saucer, after you get the Tiny Bronco, and then after the High Wind. So some of them aren't available, but the ones that we want to talk about today are one that is.
I'm talking about
only-
a bunch of them.
Yeah. Or, yeah, a couple that we want to talk about today. One in particular is only available after you get the High Wind, and that is the W Summon materia that we were talking about.
So that is the highest. That's the most expensive one. We were
Yeah.
talking about battle points before. That one takes 64,000 battle points to get.
Yeah.
Which right now,
That's like
is
1,000.
very difficult.
That's like 1,000 Nintendo 64s. If we're going by Dave and Buster's rules.
I will say that because we're talking about it now, I would actually recommend, I guess, to players playing that they wait until the very last dungeon when they have incredible gil and AP earning potential
Yeah.
to try these.
Yeah.
That's what I usually do, because once you do that, you can level up your materia and start making some of these materia builds that make you almost unkillable, and that will really speed up your ability to get these.
Yeah.
So you're not sitting here for hours and hours and hours on end trying to get W summon, or the one right below it at 48,000 points. I'm sorry, 32,000 points.
Exactly.
That's not correct.
It's worth exactly half of one W Summon.
Exactly. Omni Slash.
Omni Slash.
Oh boy, Cloud's last limit break.
Hell yeah.
A game breaker.
Quite so.
A game breaker.
Using
for sure.
Omni Slash is basically like, you win this battle.
Yep.
It's basically just a you win button when you
Yep.
get to it. We can get more into that on our limit breaks
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Hell yeah.
So the other ones that I wanted to talk about are, there's some other cool materia here. There's a Speed Plus materia.
There's a Ronald Reagan green.
There's a
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan green.
The worst kind of green.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. The preemptive materia
Hell yeah.
allows you to preempt battles, right? Where the enemy is facing away from you, you can get back attacks, and they don't attack for your whole first turn.
Which I think we might have already come across at some point. Like I already have
We may
this
have.
so
Oh,
far.
okay,
I don't know
okay,
if I
okay.
won it at the Battle Square one of the last times I was playing around here,
Okay.
or if we got it somewhere else. And I've like mastered that at one point. So then I usually just kind of always level those up and try to have a couple mastered ones
Yeah,
of those.
fair.
There's also an enemy lure.
Yeah.
Which I used a little bit when I was doing the Chocobo because I wanted to
Okay.
increase my encounter rate.
Yeah.
So I had a
that's
Chocobo
what it
lure
was.
and an enemy lure because enemy lure is just any random encounter.
That's very smart. That's a very smart way to deal with that.
Yeah, it just increases the rate of encounters on I guess the overview.
Remy, did you just do the meme thing where you like tap your head? You're like, you know it when you know it.
I did. I'm sorry.
No,
No, I love
Nobody's
it.
gonna
That's-
see that.
I feel like I had to say it out loud because I was like, that was a very good contribution to the podcast, and I needed to bring attention to it.
If you want to see it, you got to subscribe on Patreon.
That's right. And have a
Time
time machine.
and
Yeah. I was trying to
become
think.
friends with us.
I was getting ready to say a teleport machine, and I was like, no. Teleport is space. What's the time version? A time machine. Correct. Right.
Well, technically, there's no difference between space and time.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm doing the tap her head meme again.
Tappa.
You can also get Stardust, which will just use. It's like a consumable item that will use Comet 2. So
And you can also give it to the Rebellion to take out the Death Star.
Right? Yeah.
Rogue One reference.
So yeah, is next the Wonder Square?
Yes, the Wonder Square, which
All
is
right.
the Dave and Buster's.
This is basically what I think of when I think of Gold Saucer.
Yeah, I
like
think everyone
this and
kind of
Chocobo
feels-
Racer.
So the
Yeah.
Carney games.
Hell
the
yeah.
Carney games.
Yep.
That's right.
We're talking about Super Dunk.
Okay, yeah. Let's look at the room and let's go around. Let's clockwise it again, starting left of the entrance. How about that?
Sure.
We got
All
the
right.
arm wrestling.
The arm wrestling. Did you all play arm wrestling?
Yeah, and I don't like
What's
it.
it say? What's it say on the machine?
Arm wrestling.
Okay, I wasn't sure because sometimes what it says on the machine is different than what it actually says when you talk to it. Like it's arm wrestling game or whatever.
Okay, yeah, it does say arm wrestling on the
So
side.
how does this game work? Because I could not win.
Oh, really? So I won both of them. I think.
wow.
I think
Maybe
you
my
just,
button was just like not responding.
I
Is it
think
just
you
button mash?
Yeah, button mash faster.
You gotta have the turbo button.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you can. It's just an arm wrestling machine, right? But it's weird because like the thing that comes out of the machine is a hologram.
Yeah.
So somehow you're arm wrestling against a hologram.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting proposition there.
It's another very bizarre in-universe thing that has a lot of implications.
Yeah,
that are, you
it's
know.
fueled by live stream. It's just like there's actually a trapped soul inside of it. He's like damned to have to like arm wrestle people.
Yeah, it's like those guys in Junon that we killed.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the way I could see it is a hologram appears and then an actual physical arm comes up inside the hologram, but you can't see.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
There's a man who lives inside of the arm wrestling machine. And he just has to-
Zoltar but buff.
yeah. What if like Zoltar is like the fortune telling machine, but there actually has to be a person inside to do all of it, and they just stand there all day doing that. But
So-
we'll get to that when we get to the next room.
So yeah, but
yeah.
the arm wrestling. So you have you can fight. There's two different strength.
The
Like,
sumo wrestler or the wrestler?
Yeah, and the sumo wrestler is the stronger one, I believe, right?
Is
I
that
think-
right? He's the first one on the list, and so I thought the wrestler. Maybe
Oh,
was
you might. Be,
stronger.
I think you might be right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
technically sumo wrestling is real.
that's true.
So is normal wrestling, Remy.
All right, guy
Chocobo
who just
Dallas.
started watching.
Still real to me.
Adding Chris Jericho. Don't tell me what you said.
I'm mad at him.
Yeah, everyone is.
Oh man, I found like as I'm trying to like look to see which is like the harder one to do.
Well, I think,
I found a website called icybrian.com. And it's so like
Icy Brian.
GeoCities like
Oh my god, I love it.
oh, it's so good.
So-
Real relic.
Oh my!
This is the
God.
page that has super dunk and arm wrestling.
So I have in front of me. I have on the wiki. It says you win 2 GP for being the wrestler and 1 GP for being the sumo
Yeah.
wrestler. So I'm assuming that the wrestler is the stronger one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If-
I guess.
Yeah.
I beat both of them, but it was
Yeah. Sumo wrestler is all weight. He's not.
Yeah,
He's not upper
not
body
upper
strength.
body strength as much as it is. Yeah, it's a different technique.
so we're gonna be called out now on Twitter for insulting sumo. The artist.
I'm gonna have to defend the pod in the sumo ring.
I'm not gonna insult sumo wrestling on here.
He's playing it smart.
So should we go to the next one?
UFO catcher.
Is that what it's called?
No, but that's what it is.
It's a wonder catcher. What's a UFO catcher?
It's just what they call the crane machines, like
Oh,
the,
do they?
the Japanese crane
Oh,
machines.
they call them UFO catchers.
Yeah,
Well, they call
the
it
fun ones that you can play at round one.
Podcast PSA. There's a fantastic cell phone game called Part-Time UFO, where you play as the little UFO from the Kirby games, and you
Aw.
stack things together because you are a crane. Like a crane comes out of the UFO and stacks things.
Is
And
this made by HAL Laboratory?
It is, and
That's
it's
right.
like
Holy shit!
it's like $3 or something, and fantastic. All right, anyway,
I'm
continuing
gonna
on.
play that.
So the wonder catcher, or as it says in the machine, like I was asking, it says proxy catcher,
Okay,
which, but yeah, it's just a game of chance. You spend 100 gil, and you can either win a various selection of prizes. And I guess I'm looking at the wiki as well, and both machines are usable, and they have different prizes.
yeah, I just got a potion, and I was like, well, fuck this thing.
Yeah. So you have a 39% chance of getting a potion, 29% chance of getting nothing, 19% chance of getting 1 GP, 9% chance of getting 3 GP, 2% chance of getting a Phoenix down,
They really fucking incentivize this, don't they?
Yeah, seriously.
0.78% getting a Mega Elixir,
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty good.
0.39% chance of getting an 80 GP.
That's not even as good as a Mega Elixir.
But on the that's on the left machine. The right machine, the only thing that's different is that you get an Ether instead of a Phoenix down, an Elixir instead of a Mega Elixir, and 100 GP instead.
And these
So
are all,
just for reference, you can trade in your winnings during the Chocobo races for GP,
Yep.
and you might get a Mega Elixir one out of every 4 or 5 races,
Yeah.
and you can trade it in for 500 GP.
I think it's 300. Might be 500. I'm not sure.
Maybe the Materias are 500 and
Yeah.
Mega Elixir's 300.
Are there
Point,
material?
yeah, you can trade in Materia there.
Ooh.
The counter and magic counter.
Yeah. So like
It's way faster to get it through Chocobo Racing.
also at this point in the game we can walk in and out of the Gold Saucer like main area right by the tram car thing that brings
Yeah.
you there. And every now and then a little man will pop up and he will sell you some GP for Gil.
We talked about that the first time we came here, and I
Yeah.
didn't believe you all, and I still haven't seen him.
I saw
I-
him this time.
I have
I-
screenshots this time.
I would love to
I
show-
brought
show
the
me that.
receipts, Curtis.
I would love to see it.
Get your tea ready.
No, because I actually went in and out a couple times looking for him, and I was like, I just can't get him to show up.
Yeah.
So the guy who will sell you one GP for 100 gil.
Okay. So if
Which-
you have your all materia sold.
Which
Yeah.
so you know the woman by the entrance of the Wonder.
Yeah, I went ahead and bought my gold ticket this time.
So yeah, so there's the gold ticket, but the lowest thing you can trade in for 10 GP is one potion, which translates to over 1,000 gil for one potion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The translation is like doesn't scale up
You
very
mean
well.
you mean the exchange rate?
So this is why people lose faith in Bitcoin, to be honest.
Anyway, so yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
Read it and weep, Curtis.
Oh, I do see the little man in the house
Yeah.
back there. Yo, but what the fuck is wrong with Cloud, though?
I think there's just something in the foreground that I'm standing in front of that you can like hide behind. Yeah, but when you talk to him,
The
he says,
carpet?
"No, I think it's supposed to be like clouds around. Like, see the clouds back here?
Yeah.
I think it's like those in the
Oh,
foreground
okay.
of the.
Got you.
That's not what I wanted you to look at.
No, I see him. I see the little
Yeah,
man.
but yeah, when you talk to him, he says, "Hey, how about it? Change your gil into GP, and it's 1 GP, 100 gil.
Oh, very
So-
nice.
And you can only buy
It's
100
a
from him.
disgruntled employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just
Oh, yeah.
someone who got like really good at Super Dunk and like made it work for him.
Speaking of which, the next mini game going
Hell
around
yeah.
the room, I think, is Super Dunk. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
God, I could not figure this one out
I
because
I got one. I finally got one shot. And
well,
I
the
was
thing
like,
is that
doing-
there's no real timing to it. You actually have to, I think, refer to Cloud's like pullback,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
random. I think his because I went as far as trying to make a macro so I could do the same thing every time, but Cloud's timing is random.
Oh my
Oh god damn it.
So like I was like, oh yeah, if I just pull this back this X amount of milliseconds of release after this milliseconds, it'll be fine.
Well, see,
But it didn't work.
This is a very. If you're coming here and doing this earlier in the game, before you've kind of come across some of the revelations, I think Cloud's lack of like professional athletic conditioning is kind of, a dead giveaway that he wasn't really.
You can tell who's in Soldier because holy shit, can they sink threes
Yeah,
just from half court?
that's the first thing they teach you.
Yeah, that's the first thing they teach you in Soldier. How to sink a deep three.
Okay, listen, I played Crisis Core. It's all there.
Zach is just
Crisis Core
fucking
is actually a basketball game. It takes place in the Final Fantasy universe.
Okay, so I said a timing of 0.45 seconds will work every time, but there's a small randomized distance factor added to each throw. So
Jesus.
fucking Christ.
the time to release the button is the exact moment Cloud stops moving. Best spotted when the ball touches Cloud's hair.
Yeah, I saw that
And
strategy.
how do you know the exact moment Cloud stops moving? Because as soon as you recognize that he has stopped moving, you've missed your chance.
Yeah, and so it's really not like you could rack up a shit ton of GP here. Like you could pretty much max it out if you're good enough at this. And you can. I think this would probably be quicker than doing the Chocobo things because what
Really?
happens is every time you make one, you get 1 GP. But I think every time you get 10 shots in a row, you get the opportunity for a double chance. So once you make 10, then you get the double chance. If you make that one, you get 20, and then so
Okay.
on. So then 30, 60.
No, that still sounds like it's going to take a long time.
It'll still take a long time.
I
but
bet
to-
I
it-
could do the Chocobo thing. Well, I mean, maybe not to max.
Because the
maybe not to max.
Chocobo thing is also random, where it depends on.
But once you're level, like once you're rank S in the Chocobo thing, you're probably not trading in anything lower than like 100.
Yeah, that's
GP,
true. That's true.
Right? Like
yeah.
even your like poor conditions end up being
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, if we're talking about like maxing it out with 9s and stuff, yeah, the power of 2s get pretty powerful.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
pretty quickly. But it's also like you actually like you can just go on autopilot when you have an S rank Chocobo. So like that's just the way to get GP.
Yeah.
pretty much.
So I guess that's it for this room.
Yeah, there's another room in the Dave and Buster's.
Hell yeah.
And then, yeah, this one's a little more crammed.
Yeah, and it has all of the mini games that we've played thus far
in the real world.
In the real world.
Yeah.
So the best way to relive your traumas.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking snowboarding minigame.
Yeah.
God. The balloons in the snowboarding minigame actually count for points now, though.
Yeah.
So there's the submarine game, aka Torpedo Attack, starting in.
Yeah, it's finally working.
It's finally working.
Because if you, anytime you come here before you actually do that section of the game, there's just like someone sitting there who's like, it's out of order.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But
And that
so-
one's the most recent one we did, which was pretty much kind of a a submarine game.
Yeah,
Low
yeah.
volley, just like hunting around trying to destroy. I think all the red submarines.
Yeah, I think it's not
Before-
as easy as the last time, right?
Because
Like,
we're not after just one red submarine.
Right.
Because I was playing, there was a few yellow ones that'll try to take you out, but I think your goal
Yeah.
is to get rid of all the red ones
Yeah.
in the area.
And like, I still like the minigame. Like, I think it's pretty fun, and this
It's
is
cool.
actually a reason to play it. Because, like we said last time, you can beat it in like 5 seconds.
yeah.
This game's actually pretty fun. I enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
it's still not the most efficient way to get like GP or anything
Yeah,
like
but
that, but it's actually like worth going and checking out, playing a round or two of
Yeah,
it.
you kind of
Yeah.
see like the like a no stakes like unlimited version of the game that's like
Yeah.
what it would actually be if it wasn't just I'm done this mini game that they put a lot of programming time
Yeah,
into.
right. So there's that. There's the G-Bike, which is the riding the Hardy Daytona.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
the
that's
escape
there.
from Midgar
Yeah.
sequence playing over again. This time it's for points instead of
Life and death.
Yeah, instead of like all of your friends getting attacked and
Yeah.
and watching
Relive
their
your
health
traumas. Yeah.
their health being decreased. It's
Yeah,
it's
this. I think it's just you're trying to. I forget. You get points by taking out bikes, but every time the bike attacks like the truck, your points go down. So you're
Exactly.
trying to maintain the highest score you can before you hit the finish line.
Yeah.
But yeah, we glossed over with the snowboarding games here, which you can play as Tifa, like I did, which
Hell
is really
yeah.
fun.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Out of sight.
I think Tifa just chimed like, "Hey, let me have a go this time." And it was like really cool.
Yeah.
And also this time there actually is music playing, which made it a little more engaging.
That's
Because when we first
amazing.
play it in your Icicle Inn, it's just
It's
dead
just the-
silent, and
or
it's
it's just like the wind noise. Yeah.
it's playing the electric Chocobo, which is kind of like the surfy rock version.
Oh,
of the Chocobo.
nice.
Yeah.
Next is a fortune telling machine.
Yeah.
Zoltar.
That right now only says one thing. So I have it pulled up. I just looked it up on the wiki. And the fortune telling device, referred to as Crystal Fortune, has no prizes and only dispenses vague hints on what will happen next in the story. But it only works on disc 1. If you go to it disc 2 or 3, it will only say never give up hope.
Oh, that's pretty sweet though.
So it's pretty sweet, but like, yeah, it doesn't really. I have the other ones here, and like depending on where you are, like whether it's your first visit or you just beat Nibelheim or whatever else, it says different things like. After you get the tiny Bronco, what you're looking for is near because you're looking for the keystone.
Oh yeah.
After you get the buggy, it says your lucky color is red, and I think that refers to Red 13 because your next thing you have to do is go to Cosmo Canyon.
Oh weird.
Things like that. But disc 2 and onward is just gonna say never give up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some other ones like after Nibelheim, you have ties with those that fly.
Yeah, for Rocket Town.
Okay, Rocket Town.
After obtaining the keystone, use caution in relationships.
Ooh,
Interesting.
that's
Oh,
Yeah.
ow.
Yeah.
All right.
And after Temple of the Ancients, beware of the North. Yeah. Anyway,
Damn Yankees.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
so what's next in this room? We have
The best one of all,
there's
Hell yeah.
the Mog House, right?
the Mog House.
The Mog
Mog
House.
House.
I
House
told
of
y'all I
Mog.
wanted to talk about Moogle's fucking.
I was really waiting for you to bring that home. Yeah.
Yo, y'all, digital Moogles be fucking. So this is the weirdest fucking. So yeah, like, obviously there is a style of video game called visual novel, right?
Yes.
Where you can play a visual novel. Now, to me, I don't know if this exists in real life, but like, if you're just asking me straight up, right, like just off the cuff, what's the worst kind of game to port and put in an arcade machine and stick it in a Dave and Buster's?
Yep.
And I would say probably a visual novel.
Yep.
Or it's even like
But Dio's done it again, though. He didn't get where he is by listening to me. No.
imagine there was a full-on DDR sized Tamagotchi.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
pretty
Yeah,
much, yeah.
yeah, it's massive. The
Except-
arcade is massive. This game is huge, and it has like all
There's
the
a giant.
special.
The sign that is. I'm looking at the map file and like it says Mog House and it's this huge. It's the biggest sign in the fucking room.
Yeah.
It is.
It's large. It
It's
must
amazing.
It must be a new edition.
They're really trying to bring people in, and I think this is funny too because I feel like this is just like an arcade kind of just like getting quarters out of kids with like like not having to give anything back.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually win GP from this.
No,
If you finish it and you like complete what you need to do here.
We should say there's a guy standing nearby
Yeah,
the arcade
watching,
machine,
yeah.
and he says, "Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and play. I'm just watching."
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, if you win and you talk to him, he's like, "Oh, I never saw the end of that game. That was pretty interesting. Here's some GP."
Yeah.
Only the first time.
Only yeah. So
Yeah.
like it's just like you don't get anything out of
Right.
it.
So what's the premise of this game?
What is the premise of this
Anyone
game?
want to chime
You
in?
got to find your homie a date.
Do you remember, Remy?
Actually, wait, no, that's not how it is. First.
So Remy's soul has left his
So-
body. Like I saw it just now.
I will say
You
I
kind
don't.
of broke me with this one. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
I don't.
This
I don't
is the story of a Mog.
think. So I
Who
don't.
lived
think,
in a house next to a little log? I'm just kidding. There's not a log there.
Oh damn!
His
I
name
was
is
like, wait,
Mog.
what? His
It's-
name is Mog.
It's humorous that you kind of mention the idea of this game itself. You know, you're just playing something for the fun of it and getting nothing out of it. That's a very romantic notion, and you know, this is a very romantic game.
Thankfully, real video games are not like that. And
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, why would they do that?
so that a bunch of people can start a podcast
Yeah,
about
this
it. later.
podcast is over.
Yeah.
It's a
This
weird
exhibit
time
is
to be alive.
closed.
But yeah, you play through. Yeah, it's just like it's almost like I would say visual novel, but as a visual novel, it's more like a picture book.
It's
Yeah.
more like a picture book.
Where
Okay,
it's
so here you
like-
go. I will read it. Like the only way to describe what this game is to walk you through it. So I
Yeah.
will. Let me. Alex in future Alex, post editing Alex.
Give me a second. I'm gonna.
Are you gonna pull up some music?
I'm trying to remember the Koopa Mog House music is.
Oh, I was just gonna say pull up any generic fairy tale music, and if you
Hold
could
on.
put some wind chimes going into the beginning. That's
Ooh.
really.
Yeah, this is it. I think.
So the screen that we're looking at is of a peaceful forest, and there is a half tree, half mushroom
Very cute.
that says Mog on the front and has a little wooden door.
It's
where
very
Mog
much like the
lives.
intro to Shrek.
It's very much like the intro to Shrek. Get out of
I
Mog's
I
swamp.
was gonna say Super Mario RPG, but
Oh, that's it.
Shrek will do.
And as you turn the game on, this is Mog's house. It's in Mog Forest on Mount Mog, the beginning of another day in the life of a Mog. This year, Mog is Peepa Po Poo Po years old. That's 28 in human years. He's
How
had
old?
a 28.
28.
Oh, he's a
28.
neat.
That's pretty late bloomer.
He's at that stage when he should be looking for a mate. But before Mog can become an adult, he first needs to learn how to fly.
Needs to leave his mom's basement.
Even though Mog trains hard every day, he still can't seem to get off the ground. And then Mog comes out of the door. Looks dejected. Here's where you come in. Help Mog learn how to fly by pressing A and feeding him his favorite Chocobo Nut. But don't
Cupo.
overfeed him. He won't be able to fly if he's too fat. And the minigame is thus. Just press A to feed him as many nuts as you think it will take to make him fly. There is no meter. There is no indication of whether you've reached the correct amount or not.
Yeah.
You just have to fucking guess.
There is a chime that plays, and Mog gets has a little animation where he makes a noise. And,
Well, fuck me then.
yeah. So I didn't know that, and I think the first time I ever did this was this.
Mog
time
will make
around.
a squeaking sound different than the sounds he made before. When
Yeah.
he has the right number.
Well, I'll just go fuck myself then.
So
Carl told me this when I was playing it on the stream.
Oh yeah.
Mog will tell you when he's had enough nut.
And the answer is never. Never enough nut.
No.
He's a fucking champ, I tell you.
Damn it.
You okay, Carl?
Yeah, I'm good. The first time I made a fucking Champs reference on the show, Curtis didn't catch it.
I didn't.
Until like listening back, and then he was like, "Oh, I just caught that. Like, never enough neck." I think I was talking about Chocobos. Or something.
Yeah,
he just
we're
said-
talking about how much, like, how big the Chocobos' necks are. And you were like, never enough neck. And, like, I remember you looked at me and I just, like, went
Continued
on.
But he just said he's a fucking champ, and I didn't think anything of it, even though I just made the fucking Champs reference. It was like another slow burn. God damn it. Ugh.
Oh, it seems like Moggs decided to take another shot at it. And the first time I did it, I intentionally gave him the wrong amount.
Yeah.
Because I just looked it up online. I was just like, how much do I have to give him? And it says, unfortunately, he didn't make it. Poor Mog will have to wait some time for a bride. And then you get kicked out of the game and you have to start again.
Cool.
So
The guy behind there punches you in the stomach.
You son of a bitch, you ruined his life.
What did he ever do to you?
And Mog turns into an incel.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
So it
no.
always starts.
So go back, re-listen to the last 10 minutes of this podcast so we can catch back up to where we were again. Oh, it seems like Moggs decided to take another shot at it. He did it. He's flying. Now he's finally become a full-fledged Mog.
Yeah, it's very cute too because
Oh.
it starts playing the high wind music
Yeah.
when he starts
Yeah.
flying.
Mm-hmm. That's if you feed him through 5.
I think it's 5 or 3.
5 the first time.
Okay.
But that's not it, y'all. That's not the only chapter to this game.
This is the B scenario.
Let's find this Mog some
We just got to
love.
disc 2.
Tired but relaxed, our little Mog turns out the lights early and goes to bed. Good night and sweet dreams. Oh, what's this? Here comes a female Mog. You said his name was Mog. Not he's a Moogle, not a female Mog.
What's his Mog named Mog?
It's a Moogle named Mog, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Moogle name Mog.
It's short. Mog
thought
is short
so.
for Moogle.
I think his name's Mog.
I thought
It's
so.
both.
'Cause
Both
isn't-
is correct. It's a Mog named Mog.
Everyone is correct.
Chocomog.
The it's a pink Moogle comes up and knocks on his door.
Yeah.
And he opens the door and they kind of like make like little squeaks. It seems that he likes her. Now, will Mog be able to fly gracefully in front of her? Help him out with a few Cupo nuts.
Cupo. You say Cupo.
Like,
Is it Cupo or Cupo?
I say Kupo.
I say Koopa.
That's always what Moggles say, right?
Help him out with a few Cupo nuts.
I mean, look,
You pedantic
Is it
fucks.
Is it coupon or is it coupon?
Well, it doesn't have an O. If it's a British Moogle, it has Koupo.
How do you say the one
They-
Japanese character?
Cupo no mi.
It goes like this. Fuck you.
It's actually Fook.
Anyway, look, you gotta get
Fuku.
look. Give him a little nut already.
Get this man some nut.
3
Get
cc's
this
a
nerd
nut
some
stat.
nut.
this Mog clearly has a serious problem if the answer to everything is like, I just need a few more nut. Like, I mean,
You remember earlier in the podcast when I congratulated us for not like abusing the word nut?
too late now.
I'm proud of how long it took us at least.
Ask your doctor if Cupo nut is good for you.
All right, look. So you just got to give him 3 more nuts, and he flies around, and it's fine. You win, right? So,
Well, then what happens?
Yeah, tell us, Daddy.
well, once he lands from his flight, my children, she must have fallen for his graceful flying form. And then the screen goes black and says, sometime later, it looks like things are going well with his new Mog friend. Time for a quiet date in the forest. Her name is Mag. She is a good-natured Mog. I guess a Mog, yeah. Best luck to both of you, Mog and Mag. May you have lots and lots of healthy Mogs. And then, like, much like the multicolored Chocobos, just a bunch of fucking different colored Mogs. I hate saying that. They're Moogles.
They're
They
Moogles.
are.
They're
They're
Moogles. Run out, and then one of them trips, and the narrator says, no worries there, I guess. And then the word Finn comes up.
Well, I think one of them trips and everyone else runs past him, and then I think there's like a little pink Moogle, I
Yeah.
think, and it runs off screen, and then it pops back up and like waits for the one that tripped, and then the one that trips runs up.
Do you think that's what he's referring to?
Maybe.
Are you saying that they're gonna have incestuous children?
No.
I think they're.
No, I think they were just like everyone was like leaving him behind because they were running into the forest, and then the one just.
Oh
like,
yeah, this is a thing. Yeah, no
yeah.
big deal.
It just gets up and runs after it.
Well, I hate that I went there, but whatever.
I mean, they did say no worries there.
I didn't abuse my nut.
I mean, I'm
so.
pretty sure we just had an entire side quest of us doing that with Chocobos.
I'd also like to say that the guy who's watching behind you says, "I'm impressed. Thanks for the show."
Single tear dripping down his cheek.
That's
Single nut.
Thank you
Single
for
nut.
Thank you for joining the Every FNFF podcast for this wonderful story of Mog, my children. We'll see you next week.
No, but we have one more game.
No, I know. I just wanted to do a closing to the Mog House thing.
She lives in them.
Yo,
yeah.
how warm is the spirit in y'all's heart right now?
Pretty good.
I just spilled water on Remy. I'm so sorry.
my
pal.
God.
How wet is
no.
Remy's crotch right now? Yo, how y'all feel about this fucking boxing minigame?
It sucks. It sucks so much.
It's just rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
You fight, it's punch out, but it's rock, paper, scissors.
Yo,
Now,
but
is it-
it's like VR though. It's
Yeah.
sick.
It's real lit.
It's real lit.
They don't have, I really wish these. Yeah, I do wish these. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, is it actually like?
Okay. Yeah, it's called the 3D Battler.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the room. It's a big, I use this word all the fucking time, a dais, but it's not really like, it's just a big like circle in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
I love
And
you,
it-
Dr. Dias.
It
Oh my
projects it projects a fighter onto it, and then somehow projects Cloud onto it as well as the
yeah.
other boxer.
It's just like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Is it? I don't know.
If you lose, you get banished to the Shadow Realm by Kaiba. By Seto Kaiba.
Yeah, so Kaiba.
Red 13's dad.
Yeah. God, this show took a real fucking turn. For the better.
So, I think there's 4 rounds of it, and you get different like GP for each.
Yes.
And the highest you can get in the 4th round is like 300 GP.
So, did you read like some of the mechanics on it? Like, it's completely by chance.
Yeah, it like, it's not actually like you don't like. Yeah, like you're saying, it's complete chance. Like
Yeah.
I was trying to like get a strategy going. I was like, okay, well this one does this,
Well,
and it has a
Yeah,
pattern.
I was originally thinking that because it's rock, paper, scissors. Like, okay, just like Punch Out, this guy must have a type of pattern and like certain moves
Right.
he like leans to or is more biased towards. But apparently, it's just every time you hit the button, it's a dice roll whether he's
yeah.
whether
And
whether he matches you or hits you or gets hit. By you.
Right. It's not even that it's picking a rock, paper, or scissors thing. It is just rolling in between matching it, winning or losing.
Literally, you can just mash one button.
Yeah, and it's the same chance.
Wow, that's great game design.
Yeah. I will say, like, I couldn't get... So, there's a handy list on the wiki of
Ooh.
your % chance of getting through each round.
Good God.
And there's a cumulative chance, because,
oh my
like...
God.
So there's a 93% chance of beating the first one and a 50% chance of beating the second one, which means cumulatively you have a 47% chance of beating both.
Yeah.
Right? And your chance of beating the first 3 is 3%. And I was like, I'm not sticking around to fucking
not
fight that one so many times.
Yeah,
like, I'm not doing this 30
Especially in
times.
this fucking
Yeah.
episode where everything has just been completely fucking random.
Yeah, right. But because of that, I didn't find out what the 4th one looked like.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because I
I would
got a
love to see it.
screenshot right here. No, I don't.
I do.
I pulled it up on the
Oh,
wiki.
that's wild. He looks like
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. That's
Oh,
exactly what
yeah.
I was thinking.
I was gonna say like
yeah.
a Sentai. Sentais before hentai. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't make that up. That was a joke on Twitter that I saw. I'll have to find who made that.
Well, I appreciate you giving credit to the person who created it.
Yeah.
It's very.
I'm not a monster.
Yeah.
I'll have to actually find the fucking account now that.
Or else I'm going to edit that out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
The pressure's on. But yeah, it looks like a Sentai. It looks like a Beautiful Joe, and the cumulative chance to actually win that and get the 300 GP is 0.0003%. So you know,
It's fine.
Definitely worth it.
What? So let's see here. To make that over 100%, we'd have to multiply it by 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. You have to try 1 million times.
Yeah.
You might as well
a
just
third
buy
of a
the
million.
GP from the dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So you'd have to. What's it? 333,000 attempts. So somewhere in your first 333,000 attempts, there's a good chance that you'll beat the fourth one.
That you
That
even make.
is-
Well, even less than if you even make it that far.
Well, that's the cumulative chance. The actual chance of beating him is just 0.08%.
Oh, I see.
So you only need like a good 1,000 for that one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll set up a macro and just set up a stream and we can just like watch
I was
it.
I was gonna. Oh my god, yeah, that's
Just
a
hit-
better.
Just hit.
That's a better idea than what I had of me just sitting there and hitting the button on stream and waiting for it to happen.
I'll get like a bob. It was bobbing birds and just hits the X button.
like Homer Simpson when he's working from home.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is all your fault.
C streamers can do it too.
This
Hell
is
yeah.
something interesting that I'm seeing here too. Is the script for it apparently contains a bug that triggers a fifth fight with no existing opponent.
Yeah.
What?
And then it deletes your whole game file. It wipes your entire memory card.
Yeah, if
It
you
breaks your Nintendo Switch.
because there's actually a chance of winning the fourth fight, it'll queue up a fifth one, but there's no enemy for the fifth one, so you just lose instantly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better than like soft locking, I guess. That would
Yeah.
be such a fuck you if it just soft locked you.
You actually get the 300, but then you soft lock.
Yeah,
you
you're just stuck in that game forever.
I'm
So-
seeing a lot of fun posts on the wiki now that the PlayStation Classic is out because there's save states on the PlayStation
Oh.
Classic, so you can really like just really cheat the hell out of this part if you
Hell
want.
yeah.
Got
You
you.
just like load up a save, try it again, load up a save, try it again.
So that's all the mini games here in the Gold Saucer, yeah?
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about what you can get from the trading in the GP at the Wonder Square, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The really big ones are the last two, right? So you can get a gold ticket if you haven't bought the gold ticket yet. That's
Yeah.
not one of the last two.
It's
but,
that's like what 300 GP, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can get the Carob Nut if you weren't stealing it from the Volca.
Yeah, I think
Lord
that's
or
probably
whatever.
where I got it
Yeah.
before.
But the two highest ones, so the second highest is a Gil Plus materia.
Ooh.
So increase the amount of Gil that you get.
Hell yeah.
And the last one is the Experience Plus materia.
Oh,
Increase
yeah.
the amount of experience you get, which can be handy if you're trying to level all the way up.
Yeah, if you're trying to get to level 99.
Yeah. Which there might be a reason to for our very last episode that we do on this game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get there when we get there.
Hell yeah.
Holy crap, what a fucking episode this
God
was.
damn.
Like, God, would I rather have to breed another golden chocobo or just live the Eris dying scene for the rest of my life?
Or
Like,
or take on the fourth fighter of the
oh my God.
the 3D fight. Huh.
Wow.
Well, I'm spent.
Thanks, Remy, for coming on this dragging.
He
this,
said coming on this because the episode is about Nut.
I was gonna say, I appreciate you having me on here. So I was gonna make a joke and I blew it.
No, it's fine. We have post. You can be as much time. The timing will always be right on a podcast joke.
Remy says that as Frank Grimes' coffin is just going into the earth.
yeah, man.
I can't take it anymore.
Bam, bam.
God.
That's the gold saucer, man.
Though-
Fuck
though there's
this
no- I
section
mean-
of the game.
I mean, there's no lines, so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. The big thing to me is getting that Knights of the Round materia and the
Yeah.
mime materia.
There better be
Absolutely.
lines in the remake. That'd be so funny to actually wait.
Lion? Oh, lions. Yeah. I was like lions.
Like line. Like in so you get in the roller coaster.
yeah,
like
right.
there is a 30-minute wait.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
So you just got to have like a big long conversation.
I wonder. Do you think that the remake will have any sort of multiplayer or online features?
I bet by the time like that chapter comes out, there'll be like 2 more PlayStations. and it'll be like it'll be something completely wild by the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more games and more like features and stuff.
Yeah.
I bet there'll even be online rankings and stuff.
I wonder. That's
for,
what I was
like,
wondering if there'd be online rankings for this stuff.
I mean, if God, they could totally make like the whole Gold Saucer's own chapter and like actually have like the Chocobo racing be like an online game.
Just about.
Ooh,
for real.
that'd be fun.
That'd be kind of cool. Honestly.
I'm gonna try and get in the top 10 of Super Dunk.
Super dunk.
There's a really good gold saucer equivalent called the Gold Saucer in Final Fantasy XIV that has like all these games in it, but multiplayer. So like,
wow.
so it would be really cool to see it in Final Fantasy VII in the remake using some kind of like of those aspects.
Fuck yeah.
Just bring in Tetramaster and Triple Triad. Just do it. Just bring in
God.
Triple
Do it,
Triad
you
into
cowards.
7.
Do
Just
it.
do it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that would be
Cool, man.
really good. So I guess we should look at what we're going to be playing for next week. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Next episode, we're going to be going to Rocket Town
Again.
again and dealing with the Shinra 24.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
trying meaning to pee for a while.
Yeah.
Rocket Town.
Well, I got good news for you. Yeah.
Just let it all out.
And that scenario isn't too long, and so we're also going to include the section about the key to ancients.
Hell yeah.
So just so people know, so they're not confused with like where they're going, where they're stopping, and everything. This will involve going back to Cosmo Canyon and revisiting the canyon, and then receiving the key to ancients and going up all the way until we get a call about a certain weapon. That sounds good to me.
Thanks again for coming on, Remy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make music sometimes, and also I'm always seeing you like hacking consoles and stuff at work.
That's true. Yeah, I do some of these things.
Yeah. Is there any
Where can we find you at?
or listen to you?
You know, I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, you're on Twitter. You have one of my favorite Twitter accounts, period.
Well, thank you.
Which is the one you would like people to check you out at,
Yeah, that's
if you
Yeah.
want people to check you out.
I've been keeping a pretty low profile. I got to be honest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
We can edit that
yeah,
out.
yeah.
No. It's leave it.
Yeah. See what you're all
Just leave
missing
it
out
right
on?
there.
Okay.
Once we get a Patreon going, we can make Remy's Twitter handle a tier.
yeah.
$100,000 will get you the Twitter handle.
64,000 GP will get you Remy's Twitter handle.
It's a good stretch goal.
That's right. Okay, look, I just scrolled by 2 tweets, and both of them just say 2 tweets for the price of 1. It's genius. It's genius. He's so good at Twitter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now people can advance Twitter search that, Curtis.
But yeah, thanks again for coming on. This has been a hoot.
I would, happily join you guys.
We are excited to
Yeah.
talk about Final Fantasy 1 with you next year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which I don't know if we've ever actually said that on the podcast that we were going to be doing at Final Fantasy 1
Yeah, we're
next.
going to do 1 next.
Hell
That's
yeah.
right. The OG.
It's weird that they put 1 in the box. That as
Did they? You made that joke one
It's-
time.
and you were gullible last time too.
It's actually it's right there after the first letter F.
You can actually
I'm
smell.
done. I
you
don't
can,
like this anymore.
you can smell Final Fantasy 1. You can smell what it smells like on the bottom of a pool.
I'm gonna start this over.
You will have murdered me, Carl.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going through that one.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh
Well,
boy, indeed.
Well, this has been a long episode, or maybe a 2-parter, because it's been the holidays. We'll find out.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Because I gotta edit this over while traveling.
Oh no. Well, Godspeed, you Final Fantasy Emperor.
Godspeed, you black chocobo.
Oh yes!
There you
And
go.
we're out.
That's the fucking title, man.
I guess we have to do housekeeping, but
So, theme music is a remix by DJ Cutman. Feature music sprinkled throughout. I'm not sure what I'm going to use because we've been all over the place, but it's by Nobu Uematsu, Nobi Boy himself.
fucking what was that band that did Brick House?
Commodores.
The Commodores, yeah.
Commodore 60, all 64 of them.
I think they were called the Amigas.
Yeah, if you made it to the end of this fucking
You get 300 GP. There is a 0.0003% that anyone has made it this far.
like on Steam, who's someone who's clocked in like over 400 hours and gives it a 1-star review. You too can give us a 1-star review on iTunes if you so wish. But I mean, yeah, I'll love it. I'll still read it. I check it every day.
Yeah.
We are every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram. We're also on Twitch occasionally, where Carl's been doing some really good streaming. Raised a whole bunch of money for
Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Yeah, good job, man. That was really
Thank you.
fun.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun.
Were you? How long were you streaming the research for this episode?
Only like an hour and a half, I think, and that was when I was told about the RNG glitch and started doing the other Chocobos, and then I was like, I can't keep doing this. I was like, I can knock this out in an hour and then play some Demon Souls to round out the thing. And then I was like, it was going on for too long. I was like, I need to keep doing this, and I can't like keep getting distracted on Twitch, so I need to like log off. So this episode killed my charity.
You are better than all troops.
Thank you. On both sides. Now you can only be mad at half of that.
Yeah.
You fucking cowards.
Well,
Goodbye. See you next week.
see you in Rocket Town. I'm sorry, bud.
Oh, no.
I was just trying to grab my keyboard
Alex,
so I could look up a reference.
Alex gave him one too many nut.
Beans.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
Beans.
I'm gonna go ahead and dry the chair with the rest of my pants.
Alex is just trying to get you to take your pants off.
I mean, we are. We're not wearing our pants.
Yeah, just so the listeners are aware, we always podcast in the nude.
Now my shirt's starting to chafe.
I was trying to think of that Brick House song. Oh, she's a Mog House. By the Commodores.
Remy, was it worth it?
That's all.
This has gone so far off the fucking rails.
House.
I love how we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna breeze through this
Mog.
next part.
House. Mog.